New phone, different hair color, same room, same Moki girl here, and same video I did, let's just say a few weeks ago, and same interruptions. But hello, I'm doing, I think I maybe showed you guys in the last one, the Disney Tinkerbell Pixie Hollow Books. Why? Because I remembered in Facebook, yes, I still use Facebook, I do not care, have been showing these to me a little bit, that these art covers are really pretty, and they're really actually gorgeous. I remember my sister having one of them, and then we never got any more because she didn't like to read. And also, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on here, but you can kind of see those smudges right here. Maybe I could take a better picture of it. It's supposed to be glitter, and I don't remember which ones they stopped doing it at. Actually, let's double check. Because all of these at least have some sort of fairy dusting. Yeah, see, this one doesn't. This one has nothing, and this is book 4. But then it goes back to it.
What a twist!
So I wanted to read the blurb in the back of this because all of these are different. They have some reoccurring characters, and this is also based off of the movie that came out in like 2007, maybe 2009, somewhere around there. Time is not real here. So that's where I remember it. And funny enough, they have Tinkerbell a few times. They have Vidia, who was like the bad guy, like for Tinkerbell. They also had Silver Mist, which she was my personal favorite. They do not have her. Who else did they have? They had Fira, and they also had the Queen for this one too. I forget the other two girls, but they have them as well. Which, for being the main characters, were like the best friends of Tinkerbell, you would have thought that they would have had more books. Instead, we mostly have Beck, Prilla, and then what is her name? Rani? Maybe. Because some of them have 2, some of them have 3. Others just are like maybe side characters. But hey, what am I going to do about it? Because if it were up to me, I don't know, I'd kind of make it all different. Because actually, I just now remember this. Tinkerbell has the 2 guy friends, and they actually don't have any of the guy fairies as on the cover, like how the only H2O book had Lewis on the cover for once. I also wanted to read the back, so let's actually start talking about book 1. Me who's editing, put up the cover now.
What?
Tinkerbell is the best pot and pans talent fairy in all of Pixie Hollow. What does that mean? That sounds like she's a cook. Pots and pans. Ma'am? Miss Girl. Makes it sound like she's a chef. I forget. I think it's not Beck. Who's the chef? Deluce? Deluce? I don't know. But then she loses her tinker's hammer. You could have just said her tinkering hammer, whatever. And her world is turned upside down. Now nothing she fixes comes out right. The other fairies are starting to think that Tink has lost her talent. The good news is that Tink has a spare hammer. The bad news is that she left it at Peter Pan's hideout. Tink and Peter haven't spoken to each other since he brought Wendy to Neverland. Will Tink be able to make up with her old friend, or will she have to give up her talent forever, even though apparently no one else has a tinkering hammer? What the fuck are the tinkering fairies for? Also, Peter Pan, that was not the one I expected when I started to read the back of this. Which that's, oh my gosh, like, that's pretty crazy to me. So this means that this took it must have been like a while before she met Peter, because if this is talking about Wendy, it's gonna be a little interesting, because how many pages are these? 109, so not long at all. But still, this is gonna be one of those ones where I'm like, either a lot's gonna happen and I'm gonna want to know more, and then I'm not gonna get more. But hearing Peter Pan in this, that was a complete shock to me. Also, I want to give credit because all these authors are different. Same with the illustrators, because here's the front cover, here's the inside. They all have pictures in them. They're really pretty. So this is written by Kiki Thorpe and illustrated by Judith Holmes Clark. And also, quite a bit of these did say the Disney Storybook artist, which, if they don't have an artist, like, someone please say, because that doesn't tell me anything. The Disney Storybook artist. Who are they? What are they? I don't know. This is $5.99. I think I got all of these except for the last one for under $3. Because, again, not like the H2O ones where some of them were, like, almost $300. But still, the last one actually was, I got it for 20-something. Because it was, like, the more expensive one. But either way, let's start the reading because these pictures are actually really, really, really beautiful. 2006 is when this came out. And for a later book, I'll actually show you that I got one from the UK, which I was not expecting that. And then as well as every single one of them has all about fairies, and it's just like a page and a half, that's pretty interesting. So that's gonna be fun. I'm excited. Even though these are mostly kid books, same with the other one. But I'm just excited to read these and have these. Would you believe it? I actually finished this book. Oh my goodness. I'm excited. So, before I do and say anything else, this all about the fairies, I have to talk about this part because it comes into play in this book specifically. Once, Mother Dove's egg was broken, but we are not telling the story of the egg here. Now it is time for Tinkerbell's tale. And it also has the others where it says Vidia's tale, Rani's tale, and also they don't call the guys fairies. I think Peter Pan calls one a pixie, which you would have thought that would have been the guide version. No, they call them sparrow men. I don't know either. So in this one, Tinkerbell is fixing stuff for everyone. She's a tinkerer, but for some reason they call her, again, Pots and Pans Talent Fairy, which that doesn't make sense, but I guess because she only fixes pots and pans, but at the end here, she fixes a fucking bathtub. May I help you? So Terrence comes over, and Terrence very clearly has the hots for Tinkerbell. Very much so, and maybe Tinkerbell kind of has a little crush on him too. We don't really know. We don't really hear any of that, but whatever. So, Terrence asks Tinkerbell to go and play tag. Now, they don't play a normal game of tag. They play tag as in, like, they can tag whoever they want, but if they say, I choose you, Pikachu, no. If they say, I choose you, then you're it, or your whole element could be picked. Like, say, there's the water, at the beginning of this, it's the water fairies, and then if one of them says, hey, I pick the animal, like the animal whisperers or whatever, like, they all get picked. And there's one particular fairy in this. I feel like I'm jerking this around because I'm moving. There is one particular fairy that does not have wings, and her name is Rani. She is a water fairy, and she has no wings for the simple fact that she did it to save Mother Dove. And we get more about Mother Dove here, which I'll go through in a little bit. Again, we get a lot of backstory on something I do not know. And also, I don't believe Rani is in the actual movie. I have not watched that movie. I probably will. I think there's like 6. Because I know there's the one where they see the human. They also call humans clumsies. We got muggles. I forget what the monster or the shadow hunters call them. And then we got clumsies, which, whatever, I guess. They're playing games. The hawk comes over and they have to all hide because hawks apparently eat fairies. I don't know. So, Tinkerbell goes to go back to her house, and she realizes that her hammer has fallen somewhere. God knows where. So, she tries basically all night to look for her hammer, cannot find it for the life of her, and she also realizes that she has a spare, but that's at Peter Pan's place in Neverland. She's not going there. She's like, no, Wendy's there. Got a lot of issues. We're not even on speaking terms right now. No, not even going to try it. She asks for one other person to, like, give her a hammer. The hammer is not fit to her because apparently all these hammers that are made are fit to these specific fairies. And also that there are coal mining fairies and they don't overstock to, like, be like, oh, we have extra, you know? No, they don't do that. So I think it's like full moon or every, like, something to do with the moon, they get more stock, get more coal, and that way they can have more stuff. So that's why I was like, maybe if you just start telling people that you lost your hammer, then they could be like, hey, we got some extra coal on standby, you know, we can do this. It does not end up happening. It's not even a thought, but, you know. Tinkerbell tries to make another hammer. It fucks up the pans, ladles, tea kettle, just like everything. And everyone's like, hey, Tinkerbell doesn't have her talent anymore, even though no fairies have ever lost their talent before. So what the hell? And even then, like, Rani's the only one that has lost her wings, so that must mean they've lost their wings before, lost appendages maybe, but they have never lost their talent. There's another plot that's, like, very loose where the queen's bathtub has a leak in it, and they want someone to come fix it, and they're like, oh, maybe Tinkerbell could, but she doesn't have a talent, so I guess we gotta get someone else. Also, she's supposed to be, like, the best of the best, but also, like, she's a tinker, not a pots and pans fairy. I'm gonna read Rani's real quick, because I just realized I have this actually here, and this is at the very beginning. This is page 8. Rani was the only fairy in the kingdom who didn't have wings. She cut hers off to save Neverland when Mother Dove's egg had been destroyed. Now Brother Dove did her flying for her, which is the sparrow. I don't know if we'll ever get that. Actually, where do I have Rani? Rani in the Mermaid Lagoon, which that's going to be really interesting to figure that shit out. Oh, and also, this is never put in, and I thought also whenever we had this portion that maybe Tink would go and try to get it back, but here it is. A Never Crow had spotted it, the hammer, hours before, and attracted by its shine, had carried it off to its nest. Was this a guess? We never get to see it and never be like, hey, someone saw it, because the animal fairies may have seen it, like, in the nest. It's not ever brought up again. And then I also like how Tinkerbell, even in this, does not like Wendy. Since he had brought the Wendy to Neverland, Tink and Peter had hardly spoken. So she really does not like Wendy, just calling her the Wendy. Not even like the degrading of the human or the clumsy. It's the Wendy. Oh my gosh, like she's just saw a little hand go, That's really funny, though. Just how degrading she was to Wendy. Which we never get Wendy or her brothers either. We don't even really get the Lost Boys in this, which, oh well. We also get talk of Prilla, which I don't know if I have her over here. One on the front cover here. She apparently has multiple talents, which that also made me think maybe she's going to be the next queen, because I don't know what the queen's power is. I've also forgotten her name. But I don't know, like, because Prilla also, in this book, can use water. She also helps make sure that human children can believe in fairies and, like, helps other fairies get better. So, apparently, Prilla is going to be either the next queen, or maybe she's going to be, like, the queen's assistant, or like an all-around assistant, like where someone is needed. I don't know. That's pretty interesting. Also, we get another thing of Mother Dove here, which I don't remember anything about Mother Dove, if she was in the movie or not. But let's see. Hold on. Mother Dove was the only creature in the fairy kingdom who knew all about Tink and Peter Pan. Once, after the hurricane that broke Mother Dove's wings and nearly destroyed Neverland, Tink had sat on the beach with Mother Dove and told her tales of her adventures with Peter. She had only told Mother Dove about the Wendy, and when she had come to Neverland, Peter forgot all about her. You have to be with fairy for so long, and then they forget you, maybe? Or maybe that, just like the Lost Boys, if they go back home, they'll end up forgetting about Peter Pan and all that. Again, interesting stuff, but also it's kind of honing back to, you need to watch Peter Pan, you need to watch the Tinkerbell movie. Again, because Tinkerbell is not correlated with Peter Pan, but in this one, it's very much like, yes, she has met Peter Pan. And also, this is maybe hinting at we're in World War II era. The queen is basically like, hey, I heard a little birdie talking, and Tinkerbell's like, oh, yeah, fucking great, you heard too. Because everyone's basically just outing her Why, I don't know. They don't out anyone else. So Tinkerbell doesn't end up telling the queen anything. And the queen's, like, kind of worried, but also she thinks, like, that she's sick to where, like, she'd have to be secluded from everyone. And it's a very deadly disease. And I'm like, okay, don't tell me that story. Just put that on my table, okay? Tinkerbell decides then and there to go and try to get her hammer back. And Terrence follows her. They end up getting up really, 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 really early and going and get the hammer. Like, we also get talk of cigars from Captain Hook, which I didn't expect that. Also, Peter Pan on his person has a dagger in the picture, which I'm like, cigars in my Pixie Hollow book? Oh, shame. She ends up going inside of Peter Pan's house, and Peter Pan does not recognize her and tries to kill her, thinking that she's a butterfly, but he's later like, I'm just kidding. Oh, hi, how you doing, honey? How you doing, boo? Also, let me pull up that picture real quick. Also, this one's funny. The whole place had the dry, puppish smell of little boys. I don't like that saying whatsoever. Get it out of my sight. Yeah, because here him is. Here him is. So, yeah. Tinkerbell ends up getting back her hammer. And she actually does end up kissing Peter Pan a little bit as a goodbye. Because she actually does end up going back. Because the weird thing with Terrence is that he's kind of like, oh, she's mine, but she's not mine because we're not dating. And he's thinking that she's going to stay here because they've reunited and they're friends again. No. And also, Peter Pan in this and in the movie is very much, I could handle you at times, but you are awful. You're not a good friend. You're not a good person. You're everywhere. I can deal with you in small bursts. They end up going home back to Pixie Hollow to kind of show that she has not lost her talent. She decides to go up to Queen Ray's place and fixes the bathtub, which we actually don't see it be fixed, but she's just like, yeah, I can fix it. Like, I'll be able to fix it. Don't worry about it. And then, if you go back here, because again, all of these, there's a little thing in the back here, and they also have, like, what you could read next, like, Beck and the Great Berry Battle, Lily's Pesky Plant, Vidia and the Flower, or the Fairy Crown, and then coming in 2006, I don't know how long I had because it just suddenly stopped me recording, so I guess I'll have to look at that stuff. This is not going to be fun. But anyway, which Disney fairy are you? Are you proud and feisty like Tink, or sly and sarcastic like Vidia? Do you love animals as much as Beck, not the other one that we saw in the movie? Would you rather spend all day in the garden like Lily? Tell us which Disney fairy you are most like and why. Enter now. One grand prize winner will win a trip for 4 to a Disney World theme park. All entries must be received by July 31st, 2006. I wonder who actually ended up reading or winning that. That would be cool to know. I don't know if we ever did. Because again, collect them all. We have only 4 books. Again, this is like 2006, 2000. This is going to age me. I was 6 years old. My sister was 4. She was really into Disney or Tinkerbell. Okay, so what would I actually rate this? Because I do like this, but I also like how Tinkerbell just kind of is trying to do things her way and holding everything into herself. I like Terrence, but Terrence has I need to watch this man because if I probably say something wrong, he's probably going to make my life a living hell. Or we're going to be on really good terms to where he's going to be awkward around me because he wants to be friends and then he just, like, leaves Pixie Hollow. Like, he's that type of guy. I'll give it a 7. Just because it's really good. Peter Pan pisses me off. But it's pretty good. And it also gives us a lot of information. Nah, we'll do 7.5. Because it's really a lot to take in, especially where we're just given this information. And I assume with Rani, Prilla, and a whole bunch of others, we'll get more on this mother dove. So we'll see about that in the egg and then everything else in between. And again, maybe we'll see more, it's the human kids or the clumsies, or maybe we'll get some weirder thing that I never thought of. But let's continue on to Vidia and the Fairy Crown. So, there was a cat making noise. I just finished Vidia and the Fairy Crown. This cover right here comes very much into play later, unlike this cover. So, before anything, let's give credit where credit is due to the writers and the illustrators, because they don't really get credited. And also, this one here. But I also have to, there's a little thing up here, an earthquake. So, it was written by Laura Driscoll. 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 I don't think I said that right. I apologize. And the illustration is by someone you'll see kind of a little bit more of is Judith Holmes Clark, and God knows whoever else. In the very beginning of this, I'm just going to say this now, whoever you are, this made my heart feel a little bit nicer because I no longer have my Nana or my Papa. So this kind of was like, was this for me? So, Allison from 2006, June 10th of 2006. Happy 6th birthday. Happy 6th birthday. Oh, you know, almost 2 decades later. So, this whole story is about, at the very beginning here, we have a little invitation from the queen. Her name is Queen Ray, but I don't remember how to say her full name. And it's basically a ceremony for her, Queen Clarion. Why is her name Ree? It's basically, the whole fairies are getting together, but even at the beginning here, it's not on Vidia at first. It's really not, which I was like, because it was Tinkerbell and Rani at first, which, let me find that real quick. We also get, again, Rani being like, hey, she does not have wings because she did it to save Mother Dove's egg. We do not see Mother Dove's egg. We get talks of Mother Dove. What we get about Vidia and her backstory more on why she's more seen as a villain than anyone else here. Because I remember in the movie that Tinkerbell and her just did not get along, and I don't remember anything else about that movie, or if there's any other movies that talk about this Mother Dove and the egg. But here's this. But one day, Vidia had decided that being the fastest was not fast enough. Greedy for even more speed, she had done something cruel. She had plucked 10 feathers from Mother Dove. We don't know what Mother Dove looks like. I assume a dove, but I don't know what's so special about her. Then she had ground those feathers into extra powder fairy dust that gave her extra flying speed. Okay, so she wanted to be the fastest. She wanted to be the best, okay? Her villain origin story. After that, Queen Ray, they never say her full name, it's just Queen Ray. Again, Ray? I don't know. Decided that Vidia couldn't be trusted around Mother Dove. She banned Vidia from the Mother Dove's company. Over time, Vidia had become more and more distant with the other fairies. She was the only fairy in Pixie Hollow who did not live in the home tree. Instead, Vidia lived on her own in a sour plum tree, which, let's see if I can find the other portion. Okay, so this is way later on when we get Prilla, but this is more backstory that's very prominent to kind of help us tell us why Rani does not have fairy wings. Prilla, along with Vidia and Rani, had been chosen by Mother Dove to go on the great quest to save Mother Dove's egg. So that pretty much tells us that, like, Rani probably had to sacrifice herself, or her wings, or her, because not her powers, but her wings, in order to be like, in order to save the egg, I gotta, give myself to hatch this egg. We don't see the fucking egg. I don't know what to tell you about that. So, either way, Rani's in this, or not Rani, Prilla's in this. Prilla is the youngest, and she doesn't, again, have any power. She doesn't have a talent, but she kind of has. She can go to the human world, and she kind of helps the human children believe in fairies. But she also kind of takes that she has some power, like she uses water, and she kind of keeps up very quickly with Vidia's speed, so she may be like a photographic memory person, but either or. So the queen's party is supposed to be commencing, but here's the issue. The queen's crown disappeared, gone. They have a meeting, and Vidia's, like, not allowed to be there, but she's hiding and listening anyway. They tried to ask the people who were, like, around the crown, hey, what happened? And they're all like, it was there this morning. And the queen's like, fucking fantastic. Where is it? Like, they start talking and trying to figure out more. Again, this wild goose chase would not have to happen if these three people just said, hey, this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what I did. And then they start asking these other fairies, and then we got down to the bottom of it. But no, Vidia would not have a role to play in this whatsoever. Actually, she would, because she was blamed, because literally she was like, I don't want to come to this stupid party anyway. It sounds stupid. Also, she calls people like lovely, sugar, honey, like she's a southern woman, which I don't know where Neverland is technically located. It's in that case, because she was like, this party would be super boring, but you know, it'll be more fun stealing the crown and leaving off to go wherever. That sounds better. And then everyone's like, yeah, you probably did it. Mind you, they're like, oh, because you did this and we're not going to have a meeting, you're banished from Pixie Hollow. And then Vidia's kind of like, what? And then she's like, you know what? I don't care. She truly is like, whatever, but I think deep inside she kind of cares. Which she, in this, kind of shows that she cares, but also her, like, it's the angel and the devil. The devil keeps talking and convincing her more and more that this is better. And it's also a good way that she uses to hide her true feelings. So, does she actually have any more in this? Yeah, she has one, like, way down there, like, nearly the last 5, which you would think, because she was one of the main characters in the first book, that you would actually be able to be, like, get more story out of her, because a lot of these are Beck, Lily, Rani, and that's it. I guess non-signed characters are our main priority here, but whatever. So when she's banished, she's like, well, I guess I'm leaving, and what's her name? And Rani is, not Rani, Prilla is like, I know you did not steal it. And Vidia's like, why don't you think so? And Prilla's like, I just have a hunch. And that's what they do. The next day, they get up bright and early to look for where the crown was and who took it where. They find out from one of the girls who was watching the crown. I don't remember anyone's name. Just so you know, I don't remember anyone's name, so, and I'm also sleep deprived, but they track it down to a person who was going to fix the crown, because the crown had a dent in, I think, like, around the headpiece. She went to go take it to this person, or this guy, this Sparrow Man, I don't remember, I know it's Sparrow something, but they take it to him. And he was like, well, I actually kind of didn't hear you because I had, you know, cotton in my ears, or dandelion fluff. I had dandelion fluff in my hair, in my ears. And so I thought you were coming to see me, when in reality you were dropping off the crown. You were coming to see me. My only job is to help fix and create replicas of this crown for specific reasons like this. But either or. They go to the scrap metal person. Scrap metal person had given it to be cleaned, or the whole pouch, because it's in like a velvet little bag. And they go to the wash place, and they track it to this like big, and when I say big, let me find the picture, because when they showed this to me, I literally went, we're never gonna leave here. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's all of crowns. For the party, it was supposed to be that everyone gets a crown, a fake crown, and it's supposed to look like the queen's crown, but later on, I think like in a few months, it turns back to just metal and plastic gems, or like fake gems, which I'm like, okay. Also, the washer's going. Apologies. I have stuff to do. I have adult things to do, like wash clothes. What they have to do is, since there's so many of these crowns, they have to put the crowns on their head and say, oh, what are the words? It's one of those things where it's like, how about it tells that the queen is wearing it, or someone of high importance, even though Pixie Hollow, Mother Dove, the world we cherish, the one we love. So after like almost an entire day, mind you, they were gonna have this trial to be like, hey, Vidia, what do you have to say to prove your innocence? Like they said the next day. It did not happen the next day, unless it like did like very much in the afternoon. But like they spent all night and almost all morning trying to find this crown, and they finally Vidia ends up finding this crown. She almost nearly steals it. Mind you, I would not have argued that she was not in the wrong. She wants to prove everyone right. She just wants to be around people. Greed got to her, and now she's putting it to a point where this is going to be her life, and she's going to bury herself until it kills her, pretty much. Which, I feel like she's got more trauma there somewhere. She's definitely got more trauma. It's not being talked about, but whatever. Later on, they have the trial, and Vidia's like, here's all these fairies here. Talk to them, and they'll tell the story. They tell the whole story, and the queen's like, okay, thank you guys for helping me find my crown. Very cool. And again, like, the queen never wears this crown unless it's for, like, important events. I think, because I don't know any other queens at the moment, but Queen of England, I think she had talked about, Queen Elizabeth II, I think she had talked about wearing specific crowns for specific things, and some of them she has to wear, like, for crowning, and for knighting, and for a few other things. Like, very specifically, she had crowns for certain events, because she never really wore crowns, but on certain days and events, she would. For this, Queen Ray does, and Queen Ray pretty much is like, hey, Vidia, for this special occasion, let's still bring on the party, but it's also not just for me, but for you. And Vidia's like, peace. Like, no, bye. I kind of rather you just kicked me out now. She leaves. And then that's it. Hold on, because here's how it ends. Really, Ray, you flatter me, she said. Her voice dripped with sarcasm. But frankly, I'd rather go on in another wild goose chase around the home tree, searching for one of your missing babbles, than come to any party of yours. She smiled and took off into the air. Almost as one, the crowd gasped in shock at Vidia's rudeness. To say such a thing when the queen had been trying to make everything better. But then again, Vidia had never been one to mince words. To be fair, I would feel like absolute shit, and they're like, yeah, let's throw a party, even though we literally said it was you. So, my girl deserves justice, but also she's a bitch, but also she deserves justice. And again, what she said there makes a whole lot of sense, and I get it. And again, she didn't call anyone out. She just said, I'm not going. You're throwing this party to make amends with me when you guys don't like me anyway. This party is not going to make me feel welcome. This party is not going to bring me closer to you guys. So, and even then, this book tries to put Vidia away from the spotlight that her name is put onto. And you feel bad for her, but also you're like, you're kind of a bad guy. But also it's like, when you're brought up to be the bad guy, you just kind of put on the facade of the bad guy, because that's all you know now. Everyone else is going to treat you like the bad guy. Why not continue to play the bad guy? And the story is actually like, and I keep forgetting Queen Ray's real name. On the back here, it literally says, when Queen Clarion, I don't know. But again, this story ended in a weirdly, like, we never see a party. We never see her or Prilla kind of like make amends and talk, because her and Prilla already kind of had a friendship, but not really friendship. It was one of those things where Prilla definitely thinks that they're friends, but Vidia's like, you're here, I guess. Because her and Tink definitely are not friends. And a lot of the other fairies are like, no. No, sorry. Because they will either ignore her, not look at her, or they're scared of her. And that's happens here a little bit. Feel bad for Vidia. We need justice for Vidia. Like, for real. And again, I am so interested about this mother dove and her egg story. And I think we'll probably get more, because, like, I definitely don't think the next two are. Rani in the Mermaid Lagoon may possibly, just because, hold on, let me pull out the picture of her, because of just how sad she looks. And again, we get more of that mermaid, or that sparkle, hold on, sparkle, even though I can clearly see it, the camera is kind of struggling. There it is. I was gonna say it's kind of struggling to pick it up here. Next one up is Beck in the Great Berry Battle. And no, that is not my nickname. If you write that in the comments, I will literally call your mother and I don't know. She'll make you do her taxes. I don't fucking know. Is that a threat? That's a good threat. No one wants to do taxes. I read Beck in the Great Berry Battle. This one already, I'm going to say it now, this gets let's give it a 3, because it wasted my time, pretty much. Story is about Beck, and she is an animal fairy. She is apparently the best one. What about Fawn? You probably remember Fawn from the movie. Now, apparently she's not the best, but she is mentioned, Silver Mist is mentioned, and Tinkerbell. But here's the thing with that. I want to show you a picture right here. This picture. Let's see if you can see this. Now, if you're seeing this picture, where do you think Fawn is? Need I remind you that Fawn had brown hair, orange clothing, and she had a very distinct looking face. And what I mean by that, it was more of a bright and bubbly looking. Now, if you look here, where is she? And no, it's not that one. She is actually right here in purple, because later on with this debacle that comes into play later, here she is in purple for some reason. Now, I thought that maybe she went with the seasons, you know, like fall is orange, winter could be white or blue, or maybe like a dark red, spring is pink. No. It's about a berry battle. And that's essentially it. That really happens, and it's settled pretty quickly. We get some stuff at the beginning that shows us like how Beck talks to these animals. We also get mention of the mother dove and how fairies before humans used to use underground like chipmunk, mole, and fox little tunnels, but they don't anymore because I don't know, magic made them hidden. I don't know. This Great Berry Battle, and this is halfway into the book, mind you. The main reason why this all started is between the hummingbirds and the chipmunks. Chipmunks were attacked because the hummingbirds thought that the chipmunks stole their nest to hide it and do something with the sticks and stuff, because chipmunks are known to hide food and then eat it later, especially with winter time, that they hibernate, they eat throughout all that, and then they come back. And they hide food for later, and they eat it. Not too hard of a concept. Later on, they get cardinals, mice, a couple of other types of birds that come into this battle and make it a real mess, like to where no one is safe. Berries are being thrown at everyone. Everyone's being attacked, which in all honesty, wouldn't the queen be like, hey, stop this nonsense? But apparently not. And also, no fairy could apparently figure out that, hey, you two need to talk, but also when people are fighting, there's no common sense. But either or. The reason why this whole thing even stops is because there's a hawk. Hawks are the enemy of pretty much all of them, because small animals they eat, which apparently fish are not an issue, bald eagles are not an issue, humans are kind of an issue, but like not really. What's another big thing? Certain bugs like mosquitoes or tarantulas, or I don't know, there's any other animal is not an issue, like maybe foxes or bears, but hawks are, which yes, they are an issue, but no. And the hawk goes after, and I'm not shitting you, this hummingbird's name is Twitter. Oh, and I had fun finding stuff about how Twitter is so sporadic and so, like, a mess, like, so, like, not calm, just always jittery and stuttering. Like, I had fun with that, because I was like, oh boy, Twitter. And then the chipmunk's name was Nan, so Twitter and Nan become friends because they're both very young. And they end up getting stuck in this log where the hawk was smart enough to break one in and trap them in, and would be able to reach into the tree stump and basically pick them out one by one. What they all do is everyone gathers together to defeat the hawk and help the two baby animals escape. And that's it. Everything goes back to normal. They find out that literally it was two side characters. That it was these moles that joined the hummingbird side. That Grandpa Mole is pretty much blind. Like, moles are blind in general, but Grandpa Mole is blind. And he basically was wearing it as a hat. It wasted my time. Again, the berry battle comes into the very middle of this story, which, something more interesting than the story is the back here. Now, I have talked about it before. They have what you could read next, like Tink north of Neverland, Vidia in the Fairy Crown, and Rani in the Mermaid Lagoon, which is in oncoming series. Here's one, though, that's not in these next series. It's actually book number 10. Beck Beyond the Sea. Now, mind you, let's go to Vidia in the Flower Crown, or in the Fairy Crown, my mistake. Let's see. They have actually it in order. The Trouble with Tink, Beck in the Great Berry Battle, Lily's Pesky Plant, and Rani in the Mermaid Lagoon. Now, mind you, actually, which one was it? The Trouble with Tink is the first one. Well, this one has Tink north of Neverland. Let's see what that is. 9. What the heck, guys? Why? Because I'm guessing these are, because these don't have specific dates. These must have been, like, really pushed out and way planned ahead of time. Because I was like, well, this one's really far down. Yeah, because this is number 3. So these are pushed out probably a lot quicker. Again, I think we saw that either this one or Rani was like 2006 May. So they probably pushed them out very quickly. Speaking of pushed out very quickly, we need to give thanks to Laura Driscoll, and who is the writer and the illustrator of Judith Holmes Clark, and the Disney Storybook artist. Who are they? Who knows? But had to get out those shout-outs because they need to be shouted out, because God forbid Disney try and be like, oh my god, look at these people here, because they all change. They all need to have their own recognition that they actually deserve. These are very, 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 very well, beautifully drawn and animated. Stories of a lot of these are really good. This one I just thought was pretty boring. The shorter one, to me, that I could review, even though I'm talking more about it, that I'm very bored with it. But also, you're gonna have a little, dud in all of these good ones. Again, probably nothing will top Vidia and the Fairy Crown, or the whatever crown, because I was actually re-talking it with my sister. First one has Peter Pan and a lot of lore. Second one has just a villain had a villain being thought to be a villain just because she has a nasty attitude, and her backstory, and then an ending where she's like, no, screw you guys, I don't want to participate in this, and then leaving on an open end, and then this one being mostly about fairies and nonchalant nothingness. But at the same time, it's probably the most realistic that these books can have. So I just finished Lily's Pesky Plant. Let's go over who wrote this and who's the illustrator, because I will forget. It's written by Kristen Larson, or Kirsten Larson. I'm never sure, so there's that. And it's illustrated by Judith Holmes Clark and the Disney Storybook artist. Okay, short version of this story. Lily is a garden fairy, and Iris annoys her. She's trying to be like she has no real talent. Like, she doesn't have a garden, but she knows, like, all the plants, and she has a book of them. And stuff like that. We get a little tragic backstory that she knows she's incomplete. And that's basically, oh, you don't use your true, like, your talent is, oh, you help grow fruits. No, you use this other talent, which is you know about these plants and you write them down, that sort of thing. It's like a tinkering fairy who can only fix spoons, like metal spoons, or maybe a baker who only knows how to make, I don't know, pie or something like that. So this little plant, the white speck here, Lily finds it in the middle of trying to walk away from Iris. That's it, from Iris. And she ends up finding this seed, and she's really like, oh, what is this thing? She goes and she plants it, it grows, and it starts to cause chaos. Like, there's pink fluff that covers the entire Pixie Hollow. The fairies are allergic to it. I don't know. It doesn't, besides them sneezing, that's pretty much it. It's got sap that, when it gets bigger, it has sap that drips off of it, and it gets very stuck, and it smells, and at one point, wasps cover it. Now, let me just say this now. Wasps will go to anything sweet, so that's already whatever. So the thing, when it starts to get a little bigger, it kind of looks like, oh, what is this type of, I'll have to Google it, but it's a spiked walnut. It kind of reminds me of a, what is that nasty fruit that it smells, and it smells terrible, that giant thing, but later on it becomes more like an olive. It looks kind of like an olive. Let me find one. Yeah, it kind of looks like olives or apricots, because they say the inside is kind of like how a grapefruit is, so I'm guessing somewhere between an apricot and an olive, maybe, but doesn't, I'd have to look up the actual, like, if it's a real plant or not, because I'm not sure. That's pretty much it. And everyone's kind of just mad at each other because this plant exists. Like, it nearly causes World War III. So, there's that. And that's really it. That's all that really happens. Besides everyone being like, this plant is the cause of our grief and our destruction. We're gonna die because of this thing. Truly, that's all that really happens. Yeah. Nothing interesting happens in this. Rani in the Mermaid Lagoon. This gets a 7.5 out of 10. It is way better than the other ones, which are right across the way here. What was the last one? Beck in the Great Berry Battle and Lily's Pesky Plant. Yes, I can read that far away. But this one makes me so sad for Rani, because this book also kind of signifies how early on this is. She talks about dancing, like, but her feet remember how to dance even though she has no wings, that they're kind of still treating her like as if she's a toddler because she can't do anything, yada, 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 yada. So the story is basically there's supposed to be a party, and I'm going to call her a Rani because it sounds like rain, water, that sort of thing. I don't actually know how it's pronounced. Rani is supposed to be helping make this fountain. Oh, we don't get a picture of it. We only get it at the end. Damn. Sadness. Rani is told that she's not allowed to help with the fountain, even though she has been year after year after year. She tells Tink, and she's a sobbing mess. Rightfully so. But Tink's like, you know what? You should just enjoy the dancing, even though you're not going to be able to help make this fountain. And Rani's like, yeah, I guess. And so she tries to. Now, how they say this dancing is, it's kind of like a square dance, to where in the front of the fountain, it's the smallest circle is for the newer fairies. The middle circle is kind of for, like, the higher up. And then the last one is the hardest, which is the advanced one. And Rani tries to get closer. She ends up falling off of her dove. And Tink tries to catch her. Terrence tries to catch her. And they end up crashing into the fountain and breaking it. And Vidia is here. And Vidia drives it home that she is useless and that she needs to just stop trying. This pisses and makes Rani very upset, and she runs away. She essentially ends up getting in this boat, going downstream, almost gets eaten by a snake. Let me find that picture of the snake. That was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in this book. Look at how terrifying that is. Like, that's great. She ends up getting in one of the oars stuck in its mouth. Issue is, they're by a waterfall and she falls down. When she wakes up, she's surrounded by two mermaids. Ula, O-O-L-A, I think that's how it's pronounced. They're like, it's not, that's her real name. The other one is like, something else that is harder to pronounce. And then it's Mara, which that's not her. And I'm like, I don't care. They take her in and basically say that she's now a mermaid. Now, what she ends up doing, Rani does, because she cannot technically breathe underwater, she makes a necklace full of air to where she can. But here's the issue. That's pointless because she can talk underwater. And also, you would think as a water fairy, you would be able to do that regardless. But I guess it's just mess with water. The animal fairies can talk to animals. Give me some leeway here, but whatever. And these mermaids treat her like a doll and treat her like an object. One of the mermaids, Mara, I think it is, says that she's missing her ring because Rani talks about doing a party with them. And they're all excited, but this mermaid's like, no, we can't have a party unless I have my ring. It fell in this place where only a fairy could be able to find it. And they start to help her, but suddenly the light goes out. Rani gets the ring, and she swims up and finds that the mermaids are not there. But also we get mentions of Peter Pan, and Peter Pan came to visit. After all this mermaid who gets the ring back gets very pissed off that it does not match her aesthetic of being like a light green, dark green fairy, and throws it back into the little crevice that it came from. Fun. Rani realizes that these mermaids aren't going to acknowledge her anymore, and she essentially leaves. And she tries to make friends with some more sea creatures. Like, she tries to make friends with the turtle, a couple fish, but they don't end up doing that. She saves a seahorse who ends up running away. She cries, but the seahorse comes back and introduces himself to his family, which I thought that was pretty cute. And while she's there, like, she really loves the place, but she's like, yeah, I really don't belong here. She finds one of these bubbles that holds a message, which Rani gave to Tink, saying that she was leaving, which also, I didn't mention that, but also, she finds this message from Tink saying that they miss her, and they're looking for her, that the dove is going haywire. Rani comes back, and in celebration, they throw her a party, and she makes this fountain, and that's it. They say sorry, but kind of not at the same time, which I'm just sitting here like, because this poor girl still feels like she's not accepted in Pixie Hollow, not accepted with the mermaids, not even really in the sea. So it's like, but here's the thing about this that I was thinking of. If Rani can make this necklace that has air bubbles in it, and that helps her breathe. Why did they not make a thing to where it would cover her entire body so that way she could stay dry in order to get that mother egg thing from the mermaids or whatever it is? Or even better, Tinkerbell and everyone else make something to help her get down there and steal this magic thing that they needed from the mermaids. Or even better, when she did have to get rid of her wings, why did no one make her a pair of wings? Like if Tinkerbell said made this mechanical thing and made it be able to move. Like say Terrence gave her more of that magical dust just to sprinkle on her wings. Could we not have done that? We could have done that. Why didn't we do that? I don't know. But also, look how sad she looks. I also found something really cool in this toy. They have a toy line. And this is old because I don't remember my sister ever having this. Also, this is Fira. But hold on, let me pull out what Fira actually looks like. This is Fira. That's not Fira. Because I even remember she's a plant grower, I think. Which I was just like... And again, there's just some things in this one where it got me into the lore. It gave me lore that I had been practically begging for a while, especially because they would have Rani in this story all the time. And just, again, they still treated her like she was a child, and she's not. She may be disabled, but she is not, like, her legs are not broken. She's capable of speech. She can see, she can hear. She still has powers. So why, and even then, it's not like she meant to break the fountain. They create a fountain every full moon. Apparently this is the dance. So this makes it seem like maybe they had stopped doing these dances and then maybe they started doing them again after kind of everything settled down with the mother egg. But still, I have to watch the first movie again because I don't remember anything about this. Because I don't remember Rani being a thing in those Pixie Hollow movies. I truly do not. Because maybe that's what I'm missing. But either way, Fira in the full moon. Oh, wait. Actually, this took place in the full moon. What is this one? She's a light fairy? I thought she was a flower fairy. So, Fira in the full moon. I'm going to give this one a 7. It is about Fira, who is a light fairy, who is given the task of... Well, let me take it back a bit. So, I love Fira 100% because the only thing that really throughout this whole thing that is consistent with her is she's stressed and tired. And I thought it was really funny. So, Fira wakes up mid-afternoon one day. And it's because she's been trying to help with these fireflies. They're sick. And she kind of doesn't know what to do because here in the next full moon, they have to go help these minor fairies who are trying to get gems. And they're sick. They have something flu, like the no fire flu or something like that. And during this time, Prilla, who has been known to be kind of more unique in this sense, she specifically is like, hey, everyone, gather around to this area. There's going to be, like, a child's laughter is going to bring us a new fairy. That's how they're born, apparently. I forget if, like, Tinkerbell was born differently or certain ones are born differently. But Prilla says, hey, like, this child's laughter is very, like, it's special. We got to go to this specific area. And they do, and it turns out that a fairy is born. Not just one, though. 3, and they're all light fairies. What is their names? It's also, do you remember who Iridessa is from the movies? Yeah, now she's white. She's that blonde dude, or that blonde lady. I don't know. It's either her or Luna, but I don't think it is. Odd, because they never actually show Iridessa. Because, yeah, look. Here they are. No Iridessa. So, yeah. But Sparkle, we have Glory, and then we have Helios, which it's 2 girls and a guy fairy. They're pretty much chill at first, like they're very much respectable. They're waiting to see what can go on. They start to fly a little bit. They're getting used to being a fairy, and then they argue. They argue like siblings. They're mean to each other. They're like, get out of my way. No, I want to do this first. This, that, and the third. They're siblings, okay? And I don't remember if the movie talks about, again, I have yet to see that movie. I need to before this whole series ends. I know Tinkerbell has a sister, but that's like, she's Ice Fairy. That's a whole completely different thing. But I don't think there's really talks of siblings, because I don't think Rani doesn't, Vidia doesn't, Fira doesn't, Iridessa I don't think has one. Prilla doesn't. I don't think any of them really do. It's normally just one, but we have triplets, and they're all light fairies at that. And so Fira is tasked with taking them and showing them around Pixie Hollow, and they get into trouble really, 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 really easy. And that's pretty much this whole book, is they get into trouble a lot. And Fira, because for some reason light fairies don't have, hey, some of them have to be here at daytime, others are nighttime, to make sure things are going okay for everyone else. They don't do that. I don't know if it's they're short-staffed or what, but Prilla works a lot of nights, wakes up mid-afternoon, and then does it all again. You're going to be exhausted. And this is what happens, is she goes to help the miners because the fireflies, they're getting their light back, but it's not 100%, so they still can't be able to go down there and, like, whatever. So Prilla, while down there, is helping them. They start to head back because they get all the mining stuff. They get all the gems, and her light goes out because she's super exhausted. And funny enough, after all those triplets cause so much damage, they come and save the day. Which they, again, are just siblings. They don't really have a personality besides they bicker. One's a crybaby, and then that's it. And poor Fira, because she lives right next door to them because they don't have a room yet. Because, again, they weren't expecting 3. They were expecting 1, maybe 2 at most, but 3. And to be fair, I would have been like, just keep them all 3 and 1, because they're not gonna function normally without each other now. At the end of it, Fira, they're fighting and Fira just goes to sleep. I love it so much. And also, I don't know if it had it in the other book. I don't have it around, but they have toys, they have the figures, and then they have like puzzles and little posters, activity books, which I thought was pretty cool, because I remember my sister having some of them, but I don't think she ever kept them, if she did. But again, this story is a 7. At the very beginning, I was like, okay, I get with Fira a lot because I'm tired all the time. And I thought it was going to be more so we just see the light fairy kind of story, but she doesn't really get to have one too, because these new fairies. And also, I kind of wish we got a new POV of, like, a new fairy. I don't know if, because Prilla's is later on. I don't think we will. And again, there was no talk of, there was only Iridessa and Tinkerbell and Lily, but in Vidia. But really, all of these stories have to have these same fairies that are around, because either they are really under, like, staffed, because again, fairies are born from children's laughter, and that makes it more scary that maybe children are not laughing. Like, it's the first laugh that the baby ever has. And that worries me even more, because it's like, is there a specific meaning behind that? Like, what's the specific meaning? Which even then. So, next one up, because there wasn't a lot to talk about with that one. This is a short review. It's a masterpiece for Bess. Bess. I keep wanting to call her Beth. It's just Bess. So, oh boy. There's not a lot of pictures in this. Oh, now that I'm getting to the front, I'm seeing a lot more pictures. Ooh, fancy cursive writing. Oh, yeah. Actually, before I forget, because I'm going to keep forgetting, I need to start saying it at the beginning. The illustrators. Oh, actually, It's me. Guys, it's me. It is written by Gail Herman and illustrated by the Disney Storybooks artists. Again, if you know who these artists are, I need to credit them because they deserve credit. And if it's just like, hey, it's the same old people, I would have much rather had that. Because does this one have it? Nope. Different author. Same Disney storyboard artist. Which, that's disappointing. Disney. But again, that's where I need to keep remembering to say them at the beginning because they deserve the credit that they get. Because they absolutely need it. Either way, moving on to this one. So, yay. If you hear rain or thunder, welcome to April 2nd. I finished, what was it? Fira and the full moon yesterday on April Fool's Day. And then I finished a masterpiece for Bess. This basically is Rani and the Mermaid Lagoon. Shut the fuck up. Who just messaged me? I do feel bad for Bess in this. And again, before I forget, Lauren Bergen is the author and it's illustrated by the Disney Storybook artist. Do I know who those are? No. But here we are. So, and again, the art style kind of changes at the beginning, but like, it's only here. Because this art style does not stay, and neither does that portrait one. Because sometimes it'll stay the same, sometimes it won't. Like this one here. It will sometimes stay the same, sometimes it won't, but again, multiple people, but at the same time, there are sometimes at some points 3 artists that are literally given credit, but this one doesn't, and I don't know why, unless like they were very upset with it. This one, again, reminds me of Rani and the Mermaid Lagoon, where Bess is making a portrait for Tinkerbell, and everyone in the Fairy Kingdom wants a portrait. And poor Bess gets overwhelmed with it because people keep asking her. And mind you, someone who is an artist has been asked multiple times, hey, can you draw Goku, Luffy, Naruto, Ichigo, that sort of thing. And half the time I'm like, why? Or no, go away. Again, it was mostly Bess has to put her foot down. She never does. And the only one who kind of asks her if she's okay is Quill, who we don't say until, like, the last page. And even then, she has to make new paint, get new brushes, and it's quite a bit of a mess. The only actual person besides Tinkerbell who gets a portrait that, like, is appreciative of it and doesn't critique it is Vidia. And it's because when Bess realizes that she kind of had become uninspired by portraits and wanted something new, she decides to paint a plain, like a grassy plain, and Vidia likes it. Vidia's like, yeah, this is actually really good. And Bess is like, here, do you want this? And Vidia's like, I'll take it. Which, Vidia can be mean, but also very sweet at times, which I find very cute, because she's a bitch, but also it's the way that she does say a lot of things. And Quill actually had this similar thing happen where they would all wear necklaces that were important to them. Now no one does. But this story is pretty short, cut and dry. I did have trouble getting into it. I will say it is a 5 because I had trouble getting into it. I got very distracted. It's one of those stories that, mind you, it goes into this type of fairy's talent. I feel bad for Bess, but there's nothing really going on here besides just the main plot. And then there's no real happy ending because she's still left to struggle. She still has portraits left to be done. No one cares about her stuff anymore. They care about now is this newfound looking dress. It's a fad pretty much. But, you know, what are you going to do? And talking about it, Prilla and the Butterfly Lie is our next story. And also, funny enough, this one doesn't have anything to talk about the toys. It has what's next. But does this? Yes, it does. This one actually does. And it has all these books. But This one does not. They come out the same year. But the other one, I think it was Fira, talks about the movie, the upcoming movie, which I thought was funny. So, on to the next one. I am sort of sick. You can kind of hear it in my voice, so if I keep hacking, just trying not to, that too. But, since I've been kind of sick, it's just mostly my voice, and it's a few days after 420, so. Also, it's been a few days. There was a little solar eclipse that happened in Indiana. Put up a picture of that. I was out there. I sat in the back of my truck and watched it with my father. That was fun. And I actually probably should have read Prilla and the Butterfly Lie, but I didn't. The story is about Prilla, who, her thing is that she can kind of disassociate and go to the humans and basically make children believe in fairies. You can hear my voice now. May I help you? Oh, no. Is that true? She's very upset. I had to move the paint pens. So, but when she dissociates, she could go see the human children and make them believe in fairies. The more that they believe, the more, livelier Pixie Hollow will be, and that's what helps them stay alive and what helps them basically continue to do whatever they need to do. Prilla is the only one that has this ability. It's never explained why, which it would kind of be more helpful to have multiple people, multiple fairies, or what are the male fairies called? I don't remember. But have a lot of them try and help and make these kids believe. But they would actually have to go over there. She could just kind of disassociate and come back. But because she can do this whenever, and there's no real time frame, she just kind of picks and chooses, that she kind of doesn't have much to do. And so she, at the moment, is helping shave caterpillars. Now, mind you, if you've ever seen a caterpillar, she just kept staring at the camera. She is helping shave caterpillars. There are very few caterpillars that need shaving. They turn into moths, and then there are very specific other. But most of the caterpillars that I know don't need shaved, but they need them for, I forget what exactly they need to be made. They're like how we are with sheep, because her friend that she's helping, she's like, or Prilla is like, I really don't like caterpillars, but I'm just helping my friend, which, granted, I get it. And to kind of get out of doing this, because she doesn't want to anymore, she wants to kind of go to the human world and go see the clumsies or the children. And she ends up lying and says, I like butterflies instead. There's a fairy pox outbreak, and it happens to just hit all of the fairies that were the butterfly herders. Apparently, that's the most important job out of everyone. Not the lights, not the fairy dusters, not the water fairies, not the queen, these butterfly herders. What do these butterflies do? To be fair, if they were insect herders, yes, because bees are pretty important. But I don't make the rules here. And also, all of these fairies have really weird talent names, because it's the shear herder or the caterpillar shear herder fairy. What is hers? Hold on, because it doesn't make sense either. Let me find it. Hers is the mainland visiting clapping talent fairy. She does not clap to go to the mainland. She just associates. To be fair, if they said mainland visiting, everyone would be like, oh, okay, whatever, like, you just do that. And she's the only one, so it wouldn't have mattered. Why are they going to question it? She could actually change it if she wanted to, but no. I don't want. So, because Prilla had said, oh, I really love butterflies, she has the task of hurting these butterflies. And they're basically like, these butterflies are like, we're not going to listen to you. And they pull really mean pranks on her as she's trying to herd them to go and get nectar and then come back. But she ends up, it's a wild goose chase. I think we've seen this a couple times before. Also, Vidia is trying to push her to be like, you need to stand up for yourself. You don't want to be walked over. Like, as I read more of these books, she's mean about it in blunt, but it's very much like yeah, you should probably do this. I'm saying this not for the goodness of me, just to be a bitch, but I'm saying this because you're kind of, me pointing this out is your wake-up call, that sort of thing. This is near the end, because we are on a wild goose chase. She almost catches a butterfly, and one of the butterflies just goes, ah! It pretty much says, yeah, I'm gonna die now. And apparently that was a prank. Let me say this now. I would not appreciate that prank. You do not pretend that you have died. I've had family members that have died just suddenly. I have family members that have slowly died over a few years of liver failure, blood clot, etc., of cancer, of diabetes. So no, I don't think pretending to die is funny. And neither did Prilla, which, that's me. But everyone has a laugh about it because Prilla's like, yeah, I fucking just killed this butterfly. We gotta call the queen, Vidia. Vidia's like, you could just say it didn't happen. She's like, nope, I gotta do the right thing and tell the truth. And she does. She admits that she lied. She admits that she killed the butterfly. And to find out that the butterfly is actually alive and everything is all well and good. And to be fair, it's not really pushed that she doesn't have to continue helping others, but she can, which I'm like, okay, that's fine. It gives her something to do. And also, there's no set time on how long she's actually, like, going to visit these kids. So, but even then, I wonder if she, like, chooses to set a time for herself. Again, this one is one of those ones where we see the talent fairy, and I feel like I've seen this multiple times over these books, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I felt myself disassociating from this truly. And again, nothing was wrong with this book. It's just, what would I give this? Because I do like Prilla, but she is the one that's more in her head more than anyone. Like, we have her inner thoughts more than anyone. I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. Just because it's not bad, but I don't do things I don't want to do willingly. Like, there's a difference between work and shit around the house that has to be done. But if it's like, hey, you want to go see this or do this? I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm very blunt about it because I know what I don't want. And she's a walking doormat. But regardless, I still give this one a 6. Wait, did I actually say? Okay, this is written by Kitty Richards because I will forget. I need to start saying it at the beginning. And it was illustrated by Dennis Shimabukuro. I believe, yeah, Shamabukuro. Apologies, I do not know how to pronounce your name, if that is correct. But, next one on this list. Also, I have to look at the covers here, too, because sometimes they have written on there, like, if these used to be owned by people, or, like, classes, like, Mrs. So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so, which I think that's pretty cute, because these are all old and used books. Tink, North of Neverland is the next one. Do we have any? Ooh, these are different pictures. Some of them. Yes, some of them are very different. Others are not. Ooh, hold on. Collect them all. If you enjoyed reading these Disney chapter books, you can experience them on audio from Listening Library. What the fuck? Also, I don't know. Whose name are you? Nark? N-A-I-R? No, N-A-I-A-K? Is that your name? More toys. Dude, what have I been doing? Like, that's not fair. That's not fair. Ooh, we get more of a boy. And then N. I haven't started reading this one yet. So I'll see you whenever. Because I never know. Could be today. Could be tomorrow. Could be months from now. Could be never. Hello. It has been like a while because I had done another review. You won't know about it until probably that one will come out maybe before this one. Nah, it'll probably come out after this one. I don't know yet. I haven't edited anything. Anyway, Tink, North of Neverland. This one, it gets a 7 just because it does bring back Peter Pan. We get to see the Lost Boys. But the story is essentially that Tink and Terrence are out running around, and one of these other fairies that is a scrap metal fairy, I don't remember their name. Do I care to look it up? Not right now. But they end up finding a compass. Tink's like, oh, I can fix this, and Terrence and Tink go to bring it back to her place. Because it's too large to fit through the door, they decide to try and shrink it. In doing so, it ends up rolling into her workshop or her house and breaks one of the bowls. And because Terrence tried to stop it and tried to help her, it was his fault. She gets mad and tells him to leave her alone. Again, it's an accident. But either way, throughout this entire thing too, Terrence really likes Tinkerbell, and he's really hurt that Tinkerbell doesn't want to be friends anymore, even though she just said, leave me alone for a minute. She didn't say we can't be friends anymore, so I don't know where that thing came from, but just give her space. And she ends up fixing the bowl, which it's like, she acted like, oh my god, this can never be refixed again, like it's the first bowl that she's ever fixed since coming to Neverland, or the fairy place. And it's like, if you could fix this bowl, why are you so upset? I get, like, it was an accident, but, like, you made Terrence feel like such a dickhead. And because Terrence is so sad, like, it's so bad that people are literally coming up to him and being like, dude, are you okay? You don't look okay. Because it's basically the friends from the movie. It's Iridessa, Rosetta, Fawn, and Silver Mist. And they all tried to make him feel better. But during one of these times, there's a storyteller that tells them about how there was a tree that gave them fairy dust, but since that has been long gone, now it's the mother dove egg. And Tinkerbell gets this great idea to go and get him some of that original fairy dust from this tree that is said to be north of Neverland. So she decides to do that. She gets in a hot air balloon. I forget what she actually called it, like a fairy balloon or something. And she has all this stuff ready and prepared for however long this trip is. And she used the compass. Mind you, north of Neverland. She thinks it just means north. I don't know how true that is, because I'm sure if I have a compass, it'll point north. I think that way, actually. I don't know for sure. I don't have a compass on me. But north does not always mean you're going in the right direction. She ends up, like, nearly getting eaten by possums. Almost getting forever stuck in a tree, and she almost gets eaten by a tiger at one point. But she realizes that she's by the Mermaid Lagoon. She's not anywhere close to north of Neverland, and she goes looking around a little bit. Her and Peter Pan and a bunch of the Lost Boys all meet up. They actually have to find Toodles? Yeah, Toodles. They have to find him. He's the one that wears the skunk costume. And in doing so, they do find him, but he ended up being trapped in a tiger trap. And guess what shows up? A fucking tiger. So they all scatter. And she basically says, hey, like after everything's said and done, they're safe. She goes, Peter Pan, can you show me the direction of where north of Neverland? And he goes, oh, it's yonder, over there, not pretty sure. Also, the reason why she's not taking her balloon anymore, which I've completely spaced, is because her balloon floated away, which had her fairy dust, water, food, like a fuzzy jacket for when it's cold, and the compass. So, that was great. She does end up going north and following his direction, and she believes she almost has found the tree that gave them the original fairy dust. It's not there. It is just mist from the cool sea. And during all this too, she's very angry. She's very angry. She throws this metal or this bead that Peter Pan gives to her into the ocean. She throws couple of other things into like the water, or she ends up breaking something just because she's mad. Like, this is the first time we're truly seeing her mad, because I forget, the first one, she doesn't seem mad like the first book, Trouble with Tink. She's not mad. And we don't really ever see it again, because this is more, I think, I gotta remember, because I gotta actually say, maybe the writer had watched the original Peter Pan movie, which I'm happy to see all the Lost Boys and Peter Pan again. And because she doesn't get, Tinkerbell doesn't end up finding this fairy dust, she ends up going home, talking to Terrence, like, and everyone's there being like, oh my gosh, you're back, you're back, you're back. And everyone's like, oh, you look like such a wreck, come on, let's go fix you up. And she goes and talks to Terrence and gives Terrence the fixed bowl as an apology. And Terrence puts it back in and says, no, I'd rather just be friends with you. I was really worried about you, like, this, that, and the third. And she was like, well, I was trying to get you this fairy dust in order to, like, rekindle a friendship, which you should have just said, hey, I was angry, I'm sorry, like, day 2. But apparently, because all of these people kept trying to make him feel better, it made her feel worse, which, it was an accident, cool off, say, hey, I'm sorry. And apparently fairies don't know how to say sorry. They say, if I could fly backwards, which I'm like, if you could fly backwards to what? Again, I give it a 7 just because it's very much different from all these. And I had an epiphany while reading the other series that I had done. In that, like, these stories are all kind of the same. So I have to, like they all either have the same issue where they feel used, or they feel defeated, or they lie until they no longer can lie anymore. Because that's why I liked Tink and Vidia's, because Vidia is very much I don't apologize unless I mean it type of thing. Even then, you gotta push for it. She is the sassiest character. Tinkerbell usually goes to see Peter Pan, or has, like, her own wit. Like, she has her own character of feeling embarrassed, feeling, like, happy, feeling angry. Like, she has more emotion than all of these. And I think, because I can't see it right now, but I don't remember, because Beck, I get, because it was like this thing is popular, and then the next minute it's not. I get that. But every other one, it's like, they lie until they can't no more, or it's they're being piled on with stuff to do, and then it all goes over their head until it's no longer no more, because it apparently asking for help is too hard, or just trying to figure a better way how to do this, because you don't need to put this all on yourself, because by the end of the day, who's gonna, like, tell you, no, you have to get it done now, you are your own boss, like, why are you doing this to yourself? So that's why I give it a 7. I don't know which one was the highest. I think the first one was pretty high, same with the second one, but regardless of that, because also we gotta do everything else. Also, oh shit, I forgot, we get POVs of Terrence through all of this too. Like, we get to see his interaction with Silver Mist, Iridessa, and everyone else who's Tinkerbell's friend, who literally is like, dude, you look like shit, I'm gonna try and make it up to you. Which I thought that was very cool. Why doesn't he get his own thing? Why doesn't he? Because actually that would kind of make it a little more, like, helpful in this. Like, him and Iridessa literally make fireworks. Him and Silver Mist go water skiing. Like, it's super interesting. But hey, what do I know? Okay, so it was written by Kiki Thorpe and illustrated by Judith Holmes Clark, Andrina Brown, and Charles Pickens. So we have 3 this time, because the art in this is really gorgeous. Also, at the end of my book has a name. It starts with an N. I don't know whose it is. And then on the back of this too, which I thought was really funny, I can go to Listen Library and read all of these audiobooks. It has 2 in 1. It has Trouble with Tink, Beck and the Great Berry Battle, A Masterpiece for Bess, Prilla and the Butterfly Lie. Yeah, that's weird. But also, these books are under 100 pages, so I assume they're both under, like, an hour read or something like that. So 2 for 1 special. I don't know. But that's interesting. Because, again, I gotta pace myself. I need to start doing one book a day, but these are just all kind of flooding together, and I'm going at a snail's pace. With the other book, I read them every day. Like, every time I would come back to work, every day. Like, that's how much, because it wasn't just the same story repeated. It was a continuous story up to the end. And again, it was also 5 books. How much did the H2O one? H2O took me a while, but that's also because it's shit going on. And when I officially started to read it, it was like, oh, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Oh, we got another sea one, by the way. This is like the 3rd one that deals with the sea. Beck, Beyond the Sea. Okay, I was like, does this one have the fairy sparkles? It does. So, I'll get back to you on that one, because who knows when that'll happen. When I finish this. Hopefully soon. Maybe. I don't know. Beck, Beyond the Sea. I'm going to give this one a 7, just because, I don't know why, actually. Because I still don't get why Beck just kind of wanted to go out. Like, just besides to see, like, everything out there. And it's like, okay, my thought process was this. Why doesn't, like, all the animal talent fairies go out one year just to explore? Why doesn't just, like, it doesn't even have to be for a long time, like, maybe a week. What about, like, the tinkering fairies, the flower growing fairies, the water fairies, that sort of thing? I don't know why they don't, but they do. Also, this is just trying to stop, so it's my fan. The story is essentially about Beck, who wants to go out and see more that is out there besides Pixie Hollow. She's the animal talent fairy. I still don't know why we have to go through, like, all the other ones, because there are so many fairies out here, and also there's the mining fairies that we don't really get to see, the fast talent fairies, besides Vidia. Vidia is her own specific type of character in this. We don't really, I take that back, yeah, we do have, Iridessa, the light fairies. What about, because we have gotten Terrence POV, but, like, maybe another fairy dust fairy. We even have the queen once in this point, which, and also in this one, Mother Dove. So let me explain more. So again, Beck wants to explore more, and she actually does go to see Mother Dove. Let me find a picture of her real quick, because it's near the end that we see her. She's just a little white dove. She's a cutie. And her and Beck have, like, a pretty special relationship. Like, Mother Dove kind of really likes Beck. I don't know what the reason is, because, again, like, never saw the movie, which I don't even think it deals with that in the Tinkerbell movie. She and her just have a special connection. And during this time, there's a story about Spinner, who, I don't remember what his talent was. Oh, he was a tall tale fairy. Which, again, why don't those guys go out there? And, like, they get to tell all the stories to, like, the new people. Like, as soon as, like, the new fairies are born, they get to tell them, hey, whenever you're in this one, everyone gets to rotate. Even then, maybe the queen gets to go out and explore for a little bit. Let her have her fun time. Again, I'm just speculating here. But during this time of hearing, like, oh, this one fairy named Spinner, he went out and he got to see this vast ocean. He got to see a sand with a face that was talking back to him. He got to see all this cool stuff. And Beck's kind of like, yeah, I want to do that. Because you got to remember, we've had this happen too with the Mermaid Lagoon, Tink going up to see Peter Pan multiple times. Because I know a lot of them, like, go out deep into the forest. But I don't know how far, like, Pixie Hollow is and, like, where they can't. Because the only technical person who is out away from Fairy or Pixie Hollow is Vidia. Funny enough, I keep mentioning her. There's a reason. But Beck decides to try and fly faster because she wants to be with these black and yellow birds. I don't know what they're called. They don't really get a name. They're like traveling birds or something like that. And she wants to be as fast as them. I don't know why. Again, Tink, north of Neverland, we had her in a hot air balloon. If she truly wanted to, just have her carry, or have, like, a bunch of fairy dust pockets with her. I don't know why, but again, not me. And then as she's trying to, like, get faster, she makes a sled that breaks from Twitter. Yes, the bird. She makes, like, she has Tink make her fake artificial wings that are, like, they seem like they're foolproof at first, and then it's as she gets faster. And to be fair, it's like Tinkerbell could just fix it up, keep fixing it up, and it'd be like getting better every time. But you know, until finally Vidia finds her after she crashes into her tree and gives her some of this fairy dust that is basically grounded up mother dove fairy dust. And it's pretty useful. And basically Vidia's like, you can get there and back, and like you'll be faster than anyone. And the birds up above accept her, and she goes on an adventure with them. It says a few days, but I'm going to say like a few days to like almost a week that she's out there. And during one of these trips, Mother Dove calls to Beck and is in pain. And Beck has to quickly go out and see what the issue is, because she automatically is like, Vidia did this, Vidia stole a feather. Now, mind you, if Vidia had stolen the first two that were used to make this fairy dust, why didn't Mother Dove say? Because you also gotta remember, birds shed their feathers, so I don't know why. Also, in that picture, we never saw any, so maybe it's all collected for emergencies only. Maybe it's like how some stuff is like diluted to not be as powerful because it could cause chaos. It's not explained. I don't know. I'm just thinking hypotheticals here. All these animals try to help her, and during this time as well, she drops the fairy bag after finding out it's not only just filled with fairy dust but gravel. It was always supposed to be that she goes out but never comes back. Thanks, Vidia. Thanks for coming back to be the bad guy. I don't know why. Because in every other story, Vidia is just kind of like really nice. Beck also really despises Vidia, like with a passion. Like, and I get why, especially because her and Mother Dove are so close. But it's like these two should not even be in the same like part of town. That's how bad they are. Pelican helps Beck after she nearly falls into the water. And all these animals start to help her get back to Pixie Hollow, to where she ends up going back to see Mother Dove. And she's fine, but it's just, hey, one of my feathers was stolen. Like, she's not physically hurt. And then she hears someone climbing up the tree, and it turns out to be Vidia. Vidia tries to play the card of, like, I never stole the other two. You did. You know you did. And one of the other animals comes up and is like, yes, she may have used the fairy magic, but it was because it was in your bag. And apparently all these pixies have bags with their names on them, which, yeah, I could see that. And even the queen is like, you know, I gave this bag to Vidia when I thought we were going to be friends, because I thought she was my friend. And I said, damn, that hurt deep. Like, Vidia must have been one of, like, the, like, originals with the queen, because, damn, that cut deep. She's grounded. Like, she's not allowed to fly. And I'm like, okay. Like, the last time you kind of put her away from everyone else, like, in a tree, and now I guess the second time your god over here gets assaulted, like, now you just make sure that she doesn't walk or fly. And I'm like, which, again, what else can you do? You kicked her away. I mean, if you just told her, leave, I mean, I don't truly know what Vidia's plan was still, because, again, she just wanted to fly faster. But, like, what was the point? What else? Where did you want to go? What did you want to do with it? Did you just want to have it? Was it one of those things where, to see if you could do it, and then you did do it, and it was the, how far can I get, like, stealing. Also, like, again, why didn't Mother Dove say? Maybe it was, like, loose feathers on the ground. Maybe she, like, someone carries the feathers out, and then, like, she stole some. I have no clue. It's not really explained. But anyway, I still give this one a 7. Just because I did like the story. I did like how it was more of an adventure one, but it wasn't too up with, like, oh my gosh, this is so different. Like, we literally had talking sand. And then, like, avoiding ice storms. Like, stuff like that. Like, it was the interesting part. But again, I still don't know why she wanted to besides just, I want to see what's out there. Okay. Cool, I guess. Next on the list. Let me get it. The UK edition of Dulcies Taste of Magic, which also, I have to find it. Black and white picture. Oh, where's the first? Yeah, see, this is not colored. Yeah, because a lot of these are no longer colored in this one because this is colored. This is colored. I don't know why exactly because I tried to find if there was any more. Yeah, I tried to see if there was any more like these, but I think it's probably just this was an accidental, like, sent over, or it was bought some time ago, and then it was shipped over here. But, so I need to remember to say the names. This is written by Kimberly Morse, and it's illustrated by Dennis Shimabukuro. I apologize. Let me just say Dulcies Taste of Magic first before. This is by Gail Herman, and illustrated by Judith Holmes Clark, Adrena Brown, and Charles Pickens. Okay, so I didn't forget. I probably will forget in the next one. But this one, again, I've been reading these when I'm partially tired, and then I'm like, I wonder how many pages these are. Because this is bigger font. This is much bigger font. Is this shorter? Yeah, this is 88 pages. It doesn't have the thing. It doesn't have any of the catalog to buy anymore, the Pixie stuff. Yeah, it doesn't have this page or like the DVD. It also doesn't have like the what's the next books, because that's weird. Because normally as well, like this would be like an alternate page. This is one page from this one. This is just one page. And then this is another one. Which, this one most likely would have been the cover. And then this cover would have been like that next page. Do they have the About the Fairies? They do. Hello. Also, this one, instead of these sparkles, they normally have the shiny. Ma'am. Because instead of these sparkles that are these stars, normally they have these fairy glitter stuff, which I don't mind, but also I've forgotten if I've checked the other ones, because I know we saw like one or two of them that had no fairy stuff whatsoever, or the glitter. So I'm interested, because this is gonna be the most shortest book. Also, before we move on, Silver Miss, the next one after this one, her thing is not centered, and then I put all of these together, and I realized, like, Dulces' thing is shiny, and also Beck's is close to the edge. That just makes me upset. My OCD is crying. Also, apparently this one was from Goodwill at one point. I bought these all secondhand. This was three quid. So, yay! On to Taste of Magic. After Beck Beyond the Sea. Why are you licking me? After Beck Beyond the Sea, I quickly read this one. And let me just show you this real quick. Alright, you got that picture. What about this one? What about this one? You notice something missing from these two. This one has pictures, and this one does not. And that probably made it less than 113 pages. Which, there are parts of this where it is, like, it's clearly, like, this portion was supposed to be maybe this one, and this one's supposed to be a full page with a picture or something underneath it. And I took way too long to realize this, because sometimes these will have, like, 10 pages where there's no picture. Then there'll be, like, 5 pages where it's, like, 2 pages back to back of colored, like, just designs of these characters. Anyway, but because I realized, hey, this is a shorter book, how bad could it be? It wasn't that bad. I give this a 7. And basically, it is Dulces at the beginning waking up late, and then basically being told by the queen, hey, you're a little overworked, you should probably take a vacation. And because she can't deal with that, she ends up trying to do anything else to keep her mind off stuff. There's also a new cooking fairy named Ginger. Ginger's a bitch. Ginger's not nice. She's like Vidia, but Vidia, at least we know what her motives are. Ginger is just trying to take over to be head honcho, which you would think with these baking fairies that a lot of them would have like a head cook, a second head cook, a third head cook, and then like the rest would be like the preps, the backup, that sort of thing. But again, I work as prep, so I kind of know. And I know some of them on Grelline who will become the head people to keep things in order until they can't no more because we get super busy. She can't sit still, and she goes to the library to kind of try and relax because she cannot relax whatsoever. And she ends up finding in one of these cookbooks an old recipe for a comfort cake. Now, I tried to look up comfort cake, and it looks like bundt cake, which, if you don't know what bundt cake is, it is basically a circular pan, and it's pre-sliced already with the little ridges. Super delicious, especially strawberry cheesecake. Delicious. Chocolate as well, super good. And it goes good with frosting, like a donut glaze. But this cake in particular is very special, and Dulce decides to try and make it, to try and prove herself, even though she's supposed to be taking vacation. Now, mind you, I know how people, like especially very busy bodies, can be. I can take some days off, but feel like I have no time to do it all. This one, I feel like I cannot go a day without work. And also the anxiety, the stress, this person is going to replace me. So that's where I kind of felt that. She ends up getting all these ingredients and basically stalking and stealing stuff to make this cake. And there is a portion where she goes and starts to bake this cake late into the night. Now, there is no set time for this, and I don't know about these fairy ovens, but she goes to sleep while this thing is cooking. Fire hazard. That's not okay. There are so many horror stories of people going to sleep while food is cooking, waking up to their house on fire. That is how you burn a tree down. But surprisingly, it goes well. The cake specifically is made to be whatever flavor you like. Like one of them likes strawberry, someone likes almonds, someone loves chocolate, that sort of thing. And it also grows like after coming out of the oven, like how yeast rises on its own. It basically creates its own self after it's baked and the ingredients are all mixed together. So that was pretty interesting. It was a pretty cute story. But again, I want to beat up Ginger. That's all I want to do is beat up Ginger. Because she really is. I don't know if I'd already said it before, but she reminds me of Vidia. But Vidia's personality is very likable in that you know she's mean, but she can either be mean to be upfront or mean to kind of pester you. And there's very much a good indication on where she stands. But Ginger clearly wants to be head honcho. And also, this also turns into Dulce kind of figuring out, I need to take some time off between time to time and have someone step in for me, which that should have been done way before. Fun fact, I had a manager who basically does and still does everything. Like, he is general manager, he fixes projectors, he cooks popcorn, he does concessions, he does tickets, he orders the food, he puts away the food. He's basically like a one-man band. But also he can't have, like, a lot of the managers don't stay. But then also it's like kind of putting this on yourself. But also the owner's a dick. Seeing no pictures was kind of jaunting. But then, like, I pointed out it was shiny over here. And the letters are quite bigger too. Glitterly stars. But, you know, I still like the story. But regardless, I still give it a 7. Next one, who I was very happy to see because she was always my favorite Disney pixie or fairy or whatever. Silver Mist and the Ladybug Curse. Dear me, oh my. I have a terrible inkling about this. I just realized this too. This one doesn't have the next books on the list either. How interesting. Ooh. I'm still really, like, shocked that they don't have a lot more of, like, Silver Mist, Iridessa, Fawn, and all of them, because they were original fairies. And then they just have, like they have Tinkerbell, of course, you will, because Tinkerbell. But they have Beck, they have Lily. I think Rosetta was part of the group. Yeah, Rosetta, Myka, Vidia, of course. Like, Vidia is a good one to get to know, because it's either, like, things that have happened to her truly have been wrong just because they see her in a bad light, or it's like she's trying to, like, be bad, but also it's like it's a personal gain. And it's always interesting to get the POV of the bad guy, or the character that's morally gray, you know? Which, that's why I'm really falling for Vidia, because the stories that we have read, she's always been, except for the last one, she's always been very, like, likable, even though she's kind of poking the bear and trying to be mean. Like, she's very likable character. But again, I don't know. I'm very afraid, because I love Silver Mist in the show. When is the next time we see one of our... Oh, actually, the next one is Fawn, Rosetta, Iridessa. There you go. Now we got all of our characters in a row. Before that, I'm going to put this here. This was written... Look how beautiful she is. She's a beautiful, beautiful fairy. It was written by Gail Herman and illustrated by Adrena Brown, Charles Pickens, and Dennis Shimabukuro. So, this is my second... Jeez. This is my second thing of wine. I had strawberries earlier, and I decided it'd be cool to have a strawberry on the side. Still not great, but here we are. Also, I'm leaving it there. Aesthetics and all. She's just laying on the floor. She wants to be cool. So, the ladybug curse. It's all about superstitions in this one. Silver Mist and everyone is going to have a picnic. I forget where exactly. I don't remember any of the names, but Vidia's there, and Vidia's like, I'm not going to a picnic because that would be stupid. And then she falls into the water because Silver Mist is helping Iris or someone like that to get flowers into the picnic place for aesthetics. Vidia falls in and she becomes waterlogged, and she gets embarrassed when someone points out that the water is not that deep. Like, it's pretty much, I think, to the waist or to the, or like somewhere like maybe below the knees, somewhere around there. It's not that deep of water. But again, maybe she can't fucking swim. After the picnic, everyone decides to play like spot or find a ladybug or something like that. And in doing so, Silver Mist finds a white ladybug, and it said that white ladybugs are to bring curses. Now, here's what I actually looked up, because there's a bunch of superstitions that are in here, and if you are going to make up superstitions, at least try and be like, oh, if you get a raindrop dropped on your head off of like a dandelion like leaf, that brings bad luck. Or if a rose drops water on you, that's a sign of good luck. Like something like that. Not like, hey, white ladybugs are bad. But in, I don't know, maybe that's their world. But in ours, it is white ladybugs bring good fortune, good luck, and have symbolic encounters. Could mean anything like that. But because, again, how like cardinals are for the South, the Midwest, or a sign of like your loved ones are coming to visit you from heaven. That is like what I know. And then there's another one where the bad luck keeps coming for Silver Mist because they get from bad to worse. Yeah, right? Crazy. Everyone's freaking out. They're like, oh my God, you're cursed, you're cursed, you're cursed. And she's like, there's also talks about her and Fira are like they're two different personalities, and I'm like, during this book you two seem like really good friends, and I've put in quotes, best friends. People are like, oh my God, she's cursed, and in reality, at first it's like, who cares? But later on, it's she accidentally knocks over jugs of water. She accidentally knocks over a bunch of pins and makes them all go together from, like, the smallest to, like, larger ones. And then there was, she accidentally knocks over pepper, and it's supposed to be salt, where you knock over salt, you put it on your left shoulder to ward off the evil that is going to follow you, the bad luck. And instead it's pepper, which makes some poor fairy follower. And also in this, we get really some weird talks about these newer fairies. Like, there's cleaning fairies, there's sewing fairies, and then there's some other fairy. And I'm like, wow, these guys had, like, the worst jobs. To be fair, all of these fairies could be just cleaners. Like, it doesn't have to be just a laundry fairy. I didn't mean to flip you off. A sewing fairy. Like, it could just be they're cleaning up dandelions, even though that could be a gardener's, the gardening fairy's job. It could be that they brush off the water off the windows, like that sort of thing. It's just cleaning in general. And they all have a specific duty where they rotate, or they have, like, head leaders, that sort of thing. But I digress. The stuff about this is, as well, is you realize that every single one of these is Vidia going, did you know that Silver Mist is cursed? Did you know that Silver Mist is cursed? Oh, don't get too close to her. She's a little cursed. And at the same time, it's like, Again, it is very much so, essentially, a lot of these seem to be wrapped around Vidia and her, because Vidia got really embarrassed falling into the water that was, like, not that deep. But anyway, and again, like, Silver Mist was the only one to be like, hey, are you okay? Do you need help? And Vidia's like, no. When it gets really bad, Fira and Silver Mist go to try and find a way to see if there's any way to bring good luck. And 5-leaf clovers are one, swan feathers, which does not go well, finding a circular constellation, which I tried looking up, and the circular constellation is essentially like how you see all the constellations, like, through the flat earth. It's basically that. Circular constellation just means compass. And the brightest star, the winking star that she's looking for, is the North Star, supposedly. I think. It's been a minute. I looked at that while drunk, so I'm not even that drunk. I wasn't even that drunk. A lot of this, again, does not seem to be going well till, like, the portion of it where they decide to have a contest, like not a water contest, but just, like, a fun little game. And it's all fine, because it's like the water fairies are starting first and then everyone else. And for some reason, Silver Mist is like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let me go for it, because Vidia said I shouldn't. You know. And then later on, things don't seem to be going well again. And she hits the poor queen in the face with water. But she laughs it off, which, again, water. And she pretty much gets drenched and everyone laughs it off. She finds a 5-leaf clover. And Silver Mist afterwards, after getting berated by Vidia, just says, you know what? Screw this. Like, literally, she gets a water ball and she flips it back and it hits the bullseye. And she's like, maybe it was on purpose, maybe it wasn't. 'Cause you never know. And that's it. And I'm like, bruh. And I'm just sitting here going, bruh. Which, to be fair, what would I give this one? Because this one was longer one for, besides, like, for the art reason. It's the, oh my god, you're cursed, and then the curse gets worse and worse and worse. Which, those episodes don't bother me, so I'm going to give it a 6. I don't know what I expected, because it's just a white ladybug. But I think my issue is that the curses and the superstitions aren't made up and are more so based on human superstition, which you flip them around. Like, instead of salt, it's pepper. Instead of, white ladybugs are bad luck. Maybe it could be, like, another actual bug that is known for bad luck, like stink bugs, could say that. Something like that. Or if you get caught in a spider's web that is not colored white, like, and it gets on your clothing, like, it's not white, but it's like a weird blue yellow color or something like that. That spider would need a hospital, but still something like that. But either or, I don't know. That's just me. 7. This one, Fawn and the Mysterious Trickster. Now we're getting more into the Tinkerbell friends, which again, I don't know why we're waiting for these ones. And even then, is this Beck? No, this is Beck. I can't even see. Is that Beck? It is Beck. I'm right. Because she's had 2 already. I'm going to say this before I forget in this review, because drunk me will probably not. Again, I keep saying I'm drunk. I'm not drunk. This is written by Laura Driscoll, and illustrated by Barbara Nelson. And did I actually see if these art styles change? Some of them did, but they're really pretty in this one. So I guess we'll see about that. Yeah, remember whenever I said, hey, I'm going to try and review 2 books after drinking 2 things of wine? Yeah, no, I lied. It is days later. I forgot wine made me sleepy. And so let's do Fawn and the Mysterious Trickster. Or as it should have been called, Fawn and Beck and the Mysterious Trickster. Because Beck is a main character in this. I forget who was with Vidia to help find the flower crown. Or flower crown. It was one of the queen's crown, which I don't remember. It's been too long. But this is written by Laura Driscoll and illustrated by Barbara Nelson. This is pretty much, I can tell this story in under a minute. It is about Beck and Fawn pranking each other. One of the pranks, they're all pretty tame, but one of the pranks, Beck pretty much scares Fawn, like by hiding. And there's another one where Fawn pretends to be Beck in the mirror, like takes the mirror off and basically pretends to like do her hair, do her makeup. It's all cute and funny little pranks. They're harmless. Until one night, both Beck and Fawn get pranked, and they're like, there's a mysterious prankster that it's a mixture of, is it another fairy or sparrowman, or is it a ghost? I don't know why ghost, because we never see them. Yeah, there are a couple of fairies that probably could, I don't know, create something to hide themselves or make animal noises to be more convincing, you know, like these 2 animal fairies, which I forgot Beck was an animal talent fairy. But anywho, so they keep getting pranked to the point where Fawn and Beck basically sleep in the same room, and Fawn ends up in the kitchen, and Duluth just kind of looks over and goes, what are you doing in the kitchen? She's like, I don't know for sure, because she thinks she's gotten picked up and dropped there. But later on, they go to block off and set traps around Fawn's room where this fairy or whoever should get caught in the trap. And it ends up being Fawn gets entangled in it. And instead of it being another fairy or even a ghost, it's Fawn who's sleepwalking. She's so good at pranking, she does it in her sleep, which that's funny. In all honesty, this story gets a 5 because, again, it is the shortest story to tell. And the buildup is like, it could have, because I think Tinkerbell talks about it. A couple of other fairies talk about it, which it could have been them all working together to prank the pranksters because they're so good at it. That would have been funny. But it's just, oh, I did it in my sleep. I sleepwalk. Now, mind you, I sleepwalk and sleep talk too. And guess what? The only time I've ever gone outside, because I don't remember why, but I woke up at like 5 in the morning sleeping outside. That was fun. That's why I have a chain bolt on our door now. Because of me. I still do it sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. But anyway, again, this is a 5. It could have been. It is what could have been. I think I've gotten others worse for being boring, but this one is just a 5 because there was the who is it, who is it, who is it, who is it, and then in reality, it's just, it's the same person who's been pranking since day 1. So anyway, I have to pull shit off here because, uh-oh. There we go. I bought more books, and then I accidentally bought another book. Ooh, this is not the one that I want. Get back in here. I have a bunch of shrink plastics I've been messing with. So this is Rosetta's Daring Day. Do I know who Rosetta is? Vaguely, I remember her. Oh, yeah. I think we did talk about this fairy dance thing. Rosetta and Fawn? Oh, yeah. Aren't they friends? I don't know. But anyway, let's get on to that. I'm going to actually... Ooh, I just realized. Ooh, what was the quiz thing in elementary school? There's a Lexile, the Quizlet. So, if anyone wants to know, this Lexile is 5'10". I don't know, man. This is kind of funny. So, I just saw that and I was like, whoa! Mama. This one as well does not have any, books to come next. So, this is also 118 pages. How fantastic. I'm going to say this now before I forget. Also, the crease here in this book is atrocious. It is written by Lisa Papademetrio. Hello? Hello? Ma'am? Ma'am? It is illustrated by... Ma'am. By Judith Holmes Clark, Adrian Brown, and Charles Pickens. Ma'am, I know you are tired, but ma'am, why are you in front of me? I've just come home for West Virginia from a family reunion, and I've left this one alone for almost 3 days. And that one, he's gonna scream, she's being needy. Yesterday, there was a really bad thunderstorm, so... Wasn't that right, Buggy? Yes, there was. While on that trip, I read 3 books. So, this is probably going to be all in one. I may put like, oh, there's 3 here. No. So, we'll start with Rosetta's Daring Day. Who is the spy? Lisa Papademetrio, and illustrated by Judith Holmes Clark, Adriana Brown, and Charles Pickens. I do not like Rosetta one bit. Her and Fawn are friends, and they're polar opposites. Rosetta is very clean, wants to be nice looking, while Fawn is, I'll get down and dirty, I'll do this, like whatever you need, I'm there, that sort of thing. I love how she's just letting me do... Okay, bye. Oh, hello. Back it up. Anyway, so, again, it shows very clearly that Rosetta and Fawn are 2 different personalities. I think they talk about it in Fawn's, one of the last ones, that they're 2 polar differences, but they're best friends. And I'm like, you should not be friends with Rosetta. Rosetta is awful. She's an awful person. So, they're playing this game, and Rosetta's like, no, I don't want to play. I'll get dirty, yada, yada, yada. She is a flower or garden fairy, and for some reason or another, she ends up like flying away, trying to be like, I don't want to hear this, I don't want to play this. She's just in a genuinely bad mood this day, and like squirrels are annoying her. Every little thing is annoying her. I was like, this girl's got a headache, we need to get her some medicine quickly before she goes and kills someone. Well, the squirrel comes over and she literally yells at this thing to go away. Well, the squirrel keeps making noise, getting close to her. She's like, oh shit, this squirrel may need something. She goes to find Fawn, and Fawn leaves the game. And they find out that there's a fire starting in Pixie Hollow, like near the edge of where Pixie Hollow is. And they go to stop the fire. Her, Rani, and Rosetta. And they tell Rosetta, hey, you have these moss droplets or whatever that hold water. Go get someone, we can stop this fire. She literally goes, don't get me dirty. And I'm like, bitch, the whole place is gonna catch on fire. You have a water fairy, Fawn, who's an animal fairy who can literally like maybe get a pelican to drop water on, but bruh, they need all the help they can get. Anyway, she does nothing. Fawn and Rani stop it, and the queen asks them, everyone, to come and have this party in honor of them. And Rosetta dresses Fawn up like Disney princess, like beautiful. She's in a dandelion dress. She's like, but it's itchy. But Rosetta's like, you're gonna be beautiful. And the whole way there, Fawn is getting the attention that Rosetta wants. And Rosetta's like, it should have been me, And I'm like, yeah, it should have been you, saving these fucking forests. She should have been saving the forest here. And so she gets made to feel bad. I have to pick up baby. So, and I don't remember what all else happens because like the whole day, Rosetta is just, she's being made to feel like she's a bad person. She doesn't feel good, yada, yada, yada. All I remember is, because I wrote this down, but I'm not going through that. Actually, I do remember what happened looking at the book for a little bit. So, because Rosetta wants to dress up Fawn, they basically, Fawn's like, hey, I'll do something for you, you do something for me, because she didn't want to go to this dance or this dinner with the queen anyway. And by the way, like, Rani and Fawn get, like, these silver necklaces as being, like, kind of like their purple hearts. Not purple hearts, but are purple hearts. And it's a big deal, the queen giving you one of these necklaces. And instead, Rani's like, not Rani, but Fawn's like, hey, if you do something for me, I'll do something for you. She goes, okay. And the next day, they go, like, all around this area. Rani gets down and dirty. She is not having a good time. They go bullfrog riding. They get in the mud. She falls in a hole at one point. After all this, she basically snaps and says, Fawn, I'm not having a good time. I'm going home. And she does practically until the queen invites her to have a dinner, like, last minute. And Rani, or I keep saying Rani, she's not even there for all of it. She's like at the very beginning. And Rosetta's like, oh man, like, what could this be for? It's for her, because she's not having a good day. And Fawn is like a great friend, and Rosetta's a shitty friend. And then she gets a silver necklace for being like, oh, you took this on, even though you didn't like it. And I'm like, bitch, Fawn just basically told the queen, you're being a bitch. Here's things to shut you up. This book, I think I gave it like a 3. It really is a 3. It's awful. It's really bad. Iridessa, Lost at Sea. This is another 3 to 5 star. I forget. I think I gave it a 5 star. This is written by Elisa Papademetrio and illustrated by Judith Holmes Clark, Adrena Brown, and Charles Pickens. Okay, so again, it starts off like any other day. We have Iridessa, who is the original Pixie Hollow girl, and she's a light fairy. She notices at one point in time that there is an owl that is out there, and she basically comes out and says, hey, everyone, there's an owl out here that attacked me, pretty much. And everyone's like, well, what do we do? What do we do? Like, what do we do? What do we do? And they're all like, Iridessa, you saw the bird. Like, you got a good idea, right? And she's like, no, I don't, actually. And they're like, good. Like, you'll help us, right? And she's like, I guess. So for the entire day, that entire night, she's trying to figure out what to do, and she's making list after list of things to try and be like, okay, like, I need to, like, see if this works. What does this work? Does this work? Does this work? And half of them, it's like, no, they're not gonna work. It's like very much like oh, do you have this thing? No, I don't have that thing. Oh, do you think this can work? Yeah, I'm not that type of fairy, and none of the other fairies are probably gonna want to do it. Or, if we do have those fairies, good luck finding them. Tinkerbell comes along and basically says no to almost everything except for one, which is catching lightning bugs in a bottle, or putting all this light into a bottle and making the owl believe that it is daytime. Great idea. Issue is the bottles that they have and the lightning bugs that they may need are not going to be enough to make it be like, oh, it's daytime. So Tinkerbell's like, I know a place. It's on Captain Hook's ship. And Iridessa's like, no, that's kind of dangerous. And she's pretty much like, no, it's no trouble whatsoever. So later on, Iridessa's like, where's Tinkerbell? Oh, she's on that fucking ship. Of course she is. So she and Tinkerbell are on Captain Hook's ship, and they end up finding a large bottle. Like, I don't want to say beer bottle, but it's a big enough bottle to go inside of the tree and make sure that this owl realizes, hey, it's daytime. And during that, they end up falling out of the ship. She's gonna be sitting up here, cry about it. She just lives here. I evolve around her. She lives here. Ain't that right, Moki? She's like, yeah, that's true. When they get into the water, again, was Rosetta and Iridessa and Tink, they're fighting. They're bickering. I'm like, why are you guys friends again? like a light fairy and a tinkering fairy apparently aren't the best friends. I don't know. But I'm like, you guys either need to not be friends or like take a someone needs headache medicine because no one is having a good time here. Anyway, they end up in a bottle and they get tossed back and forth. They are pushed by a turtle. Mermaids find them. Actually, let me find the mermaid because one of the mermaids is Musa from Winx. Yeah. See, here she is. Musa from Winx. And then I think there's another picture of her. Yeah, here's another one of her. But also that green-haired mermaid is the same one that Rani befriended and then unfriended very quickly. They end up basically being stuck in that bottle for almost an entire day, which I don't know how they manage. All of these are in the span of like a few days or a day. At one point, I'm trying to remember because, again, it's been too long and I wrote them down, but I'm not reading that right now. But she essentially, Iridessa and Tink, basically end up getting onto a ship. I take that back. That doesn't actually happen. They also get swallowed by a gator, the same gator with the clock in its belly. They end up getting eaten by that and then getting thrown up. And they also end up getting back to shore to where they end up getting out of the bottle. I forget. I think it's by a woodpecker or some type of bird. They end up trying to carry this bottle back, but a bunch of the fairies come and are like, yeah, no, we'll help you. A bunch of the animals come and they make it seem like it's daytime to this owl and destroy the nest. That's basically it. Dear Lord. I think I gave this like between a 3 and a 5, but I just kept associating throughout this entire thing. And even at one point, Tinkerbell falls into the water when they're trying to ride this thing back to shore. Anyways. So, this one, Queen Clarion's Secret, the one I was most interested in. It should have been called Prilla's Secret Mission, or Prilla knows Queen Clara's secret, or Prilla knows a secret, because this has hardly anything to do with the Queen. You thought you were getting shit with the Queen? Ha! Joke's on you. So, also, the funny thing about this is, this story is 100 pages, and if you go past those 100 pages, you find this. Myka Finds Her Way. That is the next book in the series, while also having the next stories like Tink North of Neverland, Silver Mist of the Ladybug Curse. Then you also get this movie. I don't remember. I think I may have seen it when I was little. I don't remember. Anyway, who is this written by? This is written by Kimberly Morris, illustrated by Dennis Simbukuro, Adrena Brown, Charles Pickens, and Andrew Phillipson. Anyway, it's really windy in Pixie Hollow this day, and Prilla and the rest are out flying kites. And as they're all flying and trying to maneuver because it's really windy as hell, Prilla ends up flying off and finds Queen Clarion, and she ends up suddenly disappearing. She suddenly ends up disappearing because a rainbow bird came and basically abducted her. That's what we think. So her, Beck, and I think Lily all come out and try to help her. But mind you, they don't come and help her right away. Like, they were like, oh my god, we saw this too. Or she came up to them. No. Prilla waits until after everyone gets done flying kites. The Queen has practically been dead a day now. Not a day, but might as well have been a day. Because she does nothing to help. If the Queen was eaten by this bird, that's it. No more Queen, that's it. And also, the Queen Clarion, she escaped, where her handmaidens are, or whatever they're called. I just realized that there are fairies that strictly serve the Queen. I call anarchy. Anyway, they go on this massive journey to try and find where the Queen is, because they know she took a kite. But they start asking around. Ask a woodpecker, and he's like, it may have been that way. They go super high up on this tree. But they end up getting onto this tall tree, and they find Queen Clarion just sitting up there drinking tea like it's a normal day occurrence. I'm sorry, my cat has chosen violence again. Ma'am. Ma'am. I'm gonna have to ask you to do this. Thank you. Beck, Prilla, and Lily are just like, the queen, not only that, but I forgot to mention this. Inside, reason why Lily is even coming around here is that there is a particular rose with a rose seed, or fruit, or whatever. And it's for Mother Dove in particular. And this is like a no-no. It also, once you have it, it's very sweet fragrance, and basically all animals want to eat you. Queen Clarion actually has this as well and gives it to this rainbow bird. Apparently, Mother Dove and this rainbow bird are BFFs. They basically exchange gifts. They've been around for so long. This rainbow bird cannot land, and Mother Dove cannot fly anymore because of her egg. And I'm like, is it his baby? Like, whose the fuck is it? This leads to absolutely nothing. Again, because it's essentially, oh cool, Queen Clarion was asked by Mother Dove to send this seed to this other bird, and then she gets stuff in return because he traveled from like the winter side all the way to Neverland. And it's like, okay, cool. Why did Queen Clarion escape? Why this? Why that? You know, it's never explained, because honestly, we should have gotten Queen Clarion and her maybe laying in bed and Mother Dove being like, hey, I got this going on. Can you help get him for me? And she's like, sure. And maybe like she's the only one that gets visions from Mother Dove. But like Beck is the one to watch her all the time. But Queen Clarion gets like these very clear instructions from her. Because I think, this is my theory, I think that Queen Clarion is a super fast, either a super fast fairy like Vidia, or she's an air fairy, like maybe one of the very few that are specifically I am air, that sort of thing, because she escaped and moved like it was absolutely nothing. So that's my thought. And also my other thought is that Vidia and her either are very old friends, like they're very old friends, hello Leo, or that they're both sisters. I don't know, because again, Vidia has done some like heinous stuff. But, like, the worst she's ever gotten is, like, she's banned from staying in the Pixie Hollow area, but, like, she's still allowed to come over here. But then there was also the Mother Dove stuff, where she stole more feathers, and she was essentially, like, told you can't use your wings anymore. Because her punishments are very lax. Like, you would think for someone who messed with Mother Dove, and probably other times, she would be, goodbye. Skedaddle, skedoodle, goodbye. You have to work your way to get back in here. That's just my theory. But anyway, I think this one is the greatest one I've ever given a book. Because not only did you not give us anything of Queen Clarion's secrets, we could have gotten a great, like, what does she do? Because she is a queen. We don't know much about her, specifically anything at all about her. So it's like, great, we get to know about our queen. No, we get another Prilla story. And it's like, because they think that she disappeared, because as soon as children stop believing in fairies, these fairies start disappearing. And that's kind of why Prilla is all around. Like, she helps to make sure kids believe in fairies. But God forbid we see Queen Clarion and whatever she does. Like, hey, maybe she's got like a secret power. Again, like she's the only flying fairy, like air fairy in existence, because all the others are technically not air fairies anymore. And she's technically just got queen as a title now. Like how there's probably not just one fire fairy that could be king or anything like that. But anyway, next up we have Myka Finds Her Way. I've not started this yet. Is it more than 100 pages? Oh boy. It is 120 and no after stories. So this is going to be interesting. Ooh. We'll see, because it's taken me a long time just to get 3 done in the span of 2 days. To be fair, 7 hours back, 7 hours there. Anyway. Before that though, let's do this, because I will not remember. Gail Herman, illustrated by Dennis Shimabukuro, D. Farnsworth, and Constance Allen. A couple different people we got here as our illustrators. Buggy Cheese, that's terrifying. Are you watching for something? You're a skinwalker, I know it. He went, Skinwalker. Yeah, you're Skinwalker. Is your grandson a Skinwalker? By the way, Leo is her biological grandson. The whole family tree's a heckin' circle. Anyway. This one won't move. It's very insistent on staying here. It's very insistent. You're on my book. I finished. Myka finds her way. Or as it should have been underlined in this book, Myka, your name is not Myka, your name is Callie. Should have been Myka makes a mistake. Myka finds her way. It's essentially, at the beginning, a boy who cried wolf scenario, where Myka believes that a terrible storm is on the way, and she's basically an alert talent fairy. She alerts, and she's a, I take that back, she's a scout. She basically finds anything dangerous and alerts people. We also meet a Sparrowman fairy named Track, who's like her, what's the word I'm looking for? He basically was her tutor and basically showed her the way, like, when she first got there. But after, it turns out, because Vidia is actually still out there, every single fairy is out there, and she's like, oh, I gotta go get Vidia. It's gonna come, like, super soon, like, this terrible storm. And Vidia's just sitting out there, and they hear this boom noise, and it's Captain Hook, and him and his crew are playing with cannons. Or cannons. And mind you, that's a very big thing to worry about, but it's kind of brushed off. There's another thing where she mistakenly thinks this tree root is a venomous snake. And at that point, Shrek is like, hey, I think something is wrong with your eyes if you're confusing these things. Myka's like, no, I'm fine. Turns out she's not fine. At this point, her vision is getting worse. Everything's becoming blurry and colored, pretty much. And she essentially brings to the table poisonous flowers instead of ones that are supposed to be, like, for this cake. And they take her to the doctor. Well, mind you, she had already went to the doctor. Her name is Clara, and I'll show you a picture of Clara real quick. I know I'm saying that out of order, but they already kind of did. Here's Clara, and she looks like an older fairy, which I was like, interesting. Anyway, but Clara basically says, hey, you have terrible eye strain, and that's what's causing your vision to kind of go wonky. So what I suggest is rest and having this eye mask over your face. She goes, okay. She lays down for a little bit, and she thinks that everything is fine. Nope, her vision gets worse. So again, later on dinner, the poison flower thing happens, and Queen Clara's like, into my chambers. And she is now... Oh no, my bad. Again, Queen Clara says, hey, you are on rest until your eyes get better. They look into see if it's something more, and it turns out that to help her get better, there is another thing that could possibly help her. It's this moss that basically has a lot of better healing qualities, and it's like in this cave. It's dangerous though. You can't see, you won't be able to do anything. Like, it's just super dangerous. Myka's like, son of a bitch, I'm in. And in doing so, Bess comes along with her just to kind of be there for her. And for her scouting abilities, because she's technically, at this point, blind, her other heightened instincts are better, like her hearing, her smell, and her touch. So she is able to find this moss, they bring it back, and they wrap it over her eyes, and she does get better. So, yay! Like, yay! I give this one a 6. Wait, did I read who all? Am I gonna remember? Gail Herman is the author, and it's illustrated by Dennis Shimabukuro. D. Farnsworth. I can't see now. And Constance Allen. There you go. I give this one a 6. It did have the, oh, little boy who cried wolf, that sort of thing. But in all honesty, which I thought it was where it was going until, like, she proved everyone right. But no, she's blind. Which that also led to the question of, number one, Myka is never around when some of these other things have happened too. Like when the bird had just come down close from Queen, whatever her name is. Like why Myka wasn't alerted to that one. And then there was also, like, there's a nurse fairy. There are sewing fairies. But also there's another one that she doesn't mention anyone else, but it's a caterpillar talent fairy. What's the difference between an animal talent fairy and a caterpillar? Like, I get there are probably some more animal talent fairies that are just primarily one specific animal group, but why are we just having her in a separate group? Like, you know? Oh, I even forgot to mention, like, why her eyesight went even, like, bad. And it was because the very beginning, she basically goes near these patch of flowers, and the flowers basically make her go blind. Should I mention that? I don't know. To be fair, there is things that deal with stress that make you go blind, like your body basically forces you to kind of settle down, like your body knows mentally you push yourself and your body just says, no, we're crashing now. And it would be interesting, like that sort of thing, especially because there are times when they do take breaks, but a lot of the times it's like, let's go play out in the snow, let's go play at the beach, that sort of thing. But again, I still give it a 6. I did like the story, but I didn't remember Myka. Maybe this is our first time meeting her. I don't remember. Here we are. But, you know. Next up is Lily in Full Bloom. We got another plant or whatever talent fairy. I'm going to read this before I forget the names because actually just looking at this picture here, already two different artists. That's going to be fun. But we have, it's written by 2 people. Laura Driscoll and Pamela Bubblewicks. Bubblewicks. It's spelled with a Z at the end, so if that's wrong, I apologize. I don't know how to read. And it's illustrated by Judith Holmes Clark, Lauren Castrias, and Adrian Brown. So, I forgot to mention this one here. Coming soon from Paper Cuts. Graphic novels of Prilla's talent. Da-da-da-da. But, and also we got Tinkerbell and the Great Fairy Treasure. That movie. Did this one have it? No. Oddly enough, the longer books are like, no. But do you want to know something that I found recently? Yeah. These first 3 of Tinkerbell's Secret, Rain in Blue Lagoon, and the Vidia and the Flower Crown. Yeah, I found those. And then I found these 2 later on too. They are in the same Disney fairy universe. This one is like super different though. They're really pretty. But I'll probably have to do them for another video. Same with if I can find those graphic novels. We'll see actually, because I probably won't, just because I may do the manga ones, but for this one I probably won't because it's too long. But, and I'm sure there's other people that have probably talked about those graphic novels, and same with the manga. So, by that means, let's get into Lily and the full. I'm having a stroke. It's fine. I wanted this. So, we got Lily in Full Bloom. This reminded me at the beginning of Beck's story whenever she was dealing with a bunch of the people wanting her to paint portraits of them. It starts off at that because Tink at the very beginning has made basically a mining helmet, and it's to help at night for that sort of activity of whatever fairies are doing. And everyone's like, Tinkerbell is making stuff, and tinkerers are known for, inventing. I bet we can do that. And everyone's like, yeah, I bet we can. And Tink's like, I just wanted to make stuff. Hi. So, after that, Lily gets to making stuff, but she kind of has a harder time. I'll say this right now. I forget what their name is, but there's Laundry Talent Fairy. Yeah, try thinking of that one. You think your talent is useless? Like, you're not as artistic as the other people. You can't make a garden as well as someone else. How about you can't invent things as good? How about you can't fucking wash clothes as good as the person next to you? Someone's gonna do it. But, like, dear Lord, a laundry talent fairy. Bruh. How about a cleaning fairy? How about just one that has OCD? Anyway, one of them is able to make a detergent that basically makes the whitest of whites. Okay, that's great, handy, whatever. But Lily over here makes, what is it called? I already forgot. Panglories. Now, if you've ever been to like any store or any flower shop, Panglories are pretty much these either yellow, purple, blue, or a mixture of flowers. They're very small. They grow everywhere, but they die super quickly. May I help you? The Panglories, basically, in this sense, they grow everywhere. Now, I don't truly know a lot about Panglories, but I don't think they do that much. I know, like, dandelions, they grow everywhere. There's a couple of other ones. They're called elephant ears, and they grow around, like, super quickly, but those are the only ones that I truly know. I don't know about any other plant that grows besides moss that quickly and around other stuff. Like these Panglories are growing around like little barns, rocks. They're just growing around like every little place that they can, pretty much like weeds, but they're not weeds. And during all this time, they go to the water well where Lily's gonna be like, hey, look, I got these new flowers that I've just planted. They're really growing super quickly. They grow everywhere. It's great. Well, during this time, because Lily also has a pet bee. I forget their name. Bumper. I think it starts with a B. But for some reason, Bumper decides, hey, I want in on this conversation, and knocks the detergent and the seeds down into the well. That comes into play later. So all these flowers are blooming and all that stuff. Well, sometime later, they end up dying. Like, they're all turning gray. They're dying. Lily's freaking out because they weren't like that. They all just suddenly stopped dying. Also, no one tells Lily, hey, my flowers are dying. It's not until Lily starts looking around and then notices, hey, our hollow home tree, it's not doing well at all. Like, it's not doing well at all. It's dying too. Lily talks to the queen finally and says, hey, we got an issue. I know you see this issue, but I am the cause of this issue. She talks to everyone and says, hey, these flowers are dying. All of Pixie Hollow's flowers are basically dying. It's affecting everyone. At first, it was just like, yeah, it's the artist fairies, whatever. But no, it's affecting the baking supplies. It's affecting, like, people's everyday life, pretty much. It later turns out, again with the well, that the detergent and the seeds wrap in there. And when these fairies come back, they have this blanket or whatever, and it has flowers that are perfectly fine, and it's from the other day when the seeds, fell on them, but now the others are dying. And they realize, hey, it's not the seeds that are the problem or these flowers, it's the detergent that's killing them. And one of the fairies was watering the fairy hollow tree and it's dying. So what they basically have to do is clean it out, put new water in it, and everything's high and dandy. I'm giving this one a 4 just because I don't remember what happened with the other Lily one that I had, that she grew, and I have something in my eye, that she grew a olive bush or something like that. Like, it was very slow. It should have been interesting, but it was very slow, and this one should have been too. But I have nothing against Lily. It's just her stuff at the beginning, kind of interesting. Then it gets slow, and I'm bored, and at the end I'm like, oh, okay, like, this is all resolved, like, pretty quickly. But it's also just like, holy shit, this could have been way worse. Like, a lot of it is way worse. With Lily's especially, because it's mostly bad, blame Lily, give her the side eye, and then it all fixes itself at the end. And again, poor Lily, done absolutely nothing, and oops, you the problem now. Anyway, we get to this one because I think I said in one of the many other ones that this picture looks like it was drawn by 2 different people, and again, it's got 3 artists. This one looks like it was drawn by 2 different people. Vidia meets her match. I can't speak still. Also, the ending of this, I kind of flipped through it. There's a fire. And I think it's going to end probably similar to how the crown, or the Vidia with the crown one ends. In that it's not open-ended, but it's more of Vidia being proven to be the good guy, or proven, like, it's how it ends for her, which it's cut, like, very much like we don't know how to end it, but it's death, like, right here, like, it's just a sharp end. So this is written by Kiki Thorpe, I can't pronounce your name, I'm sorry, I don't know if I said it right either, so that's my fault. And illustrated by Judith Holmes Clark and Audreen Brown. So, yay me, because again, oh, there's a hawk in here. Tinkerbell, you're a mess, girl. What happened to you? Here's a fire, and then let's see now. Fire! Defeat. Also, they have the girl here. Do you want to see? No, she does not want to see. I'm gonna say this now. It is hot in this house. There are like 3 fans consecutively going. It's like 92 here in Indiana. It's got like the heat index of like 106 or something like that. It's hot as balls outside. And also, I don't want to be hot. Also, this is just covering me up, so I don't care right now. Vidia meets her match. It is a 10. It is 100% a 10. Like, dude. Let me explain. There's a new fairy that has been born. I forget when the last one was. It was with the triplets. And I forget what their talent was. I don't remember. It's been too long. But that was the last time. There is no, like, time break in between these. So I have absolutely no clue when this all takes place. Her name is Wisp, and she's a flying fairy. Vidia is very excited about this because she's kind of like, is she stronger to me? How strong is she? That sort of thing. And Wisp is being shown around, and she is told, hey, do not go near Vidia. Vidia is bad. She's not good. Wisp ignores all of that, and she wants to race Vidia. Vidia, very clearly faster, but she's got a new opponent. Even though she's, like, her first day here, they race, and she's like, I see potential in this one. I see potential in her. Let's continue on. And they keep on racing for quite a while. During this time, too, Vidia sees that Wisp is not only quite a fast flyer, but she's also a little daredevil. Anything that you see as scary, she's like, I got it. I'll do this. They decide to have little competitions like, hey, let's go from this part of Pixie Hollow to there, to there, to there. There's at one point where they try and, like, speed and see if they're faster than Wave. They both are. Same with the Lost Boys. They try and see if they are faster than Arrow. Wisp almost gets killed, and Vidia is like, yo, we better stop. Like, we kind of need a, like, she's clearly a daredevil, but, like, Vidia's like, this child, this fairy is going to get killed. She's going to die if she keeps doing this. Now, mind you, here's another portion that is talked about in the very beginning and a more prominent part near the end. I think it's Phoenix dragon flowers. When they basically pollinate, they catch on fire and they burn all the way to the root. What also happens is they catch everything around them on fire. So part of that area of Pixie Hollow is on fire. There's quite a bit of them. And Vidia doesn't want anything to do with it because they seem to have it under control. But later on, it becomes very apparent that, hey, this fire is still raging on. Even though it's settled, it could still catch. And what ends up happening later, you'll see. But we got one more thing. Wisp decides that she's going to go exploring a little bit. And she finds like a canyon. They are chased by hawks because they want to see if they're faster than hawks. And Vidia has to crash land and she's bruised and battered. And at that point she realizes, hey, I think she's actually stronger than me, like faster than me. Turns out that's not really the case because Miss Wisp had been asking these lock talent fairies. Yes, there are lock talents and sweep fairies. It still pisses me off that there are sweeping fairies. But she finds out because she goes home, but she's distracted by Tink. And that her and Tink see that not only has Wisp like got into Vidia's home, but also stolen some of the fairy dust that had Mother Dove's like feathers grounded up, that little that fairy dust type of thing. And she's rightfully pissed, but also she realizes, hey, not only is she 100% like me now, but she's also got the fast flying that I have. So now what do? Well, the obvious answer is to actually fly around Pixie Hollow and come back to her tree. Before they do that, they realize, hey, this part of Pixie Hollow is reignited, the flames, and they can't do, like, they need to not be there. Vidia tries and tries and tries to say, hey, we can't be here. The flames are getting bad. But Wisp doesn't listen, and she gets trapped. What ends up happening later on is all the fairies start giving water, and Vidia's like, I shouldn't, but I need to help Wisp. And she goes underground to help them and helps Wisp get out of this fire. And her wings are singed, like she's got them a little injured. Can we actually see in here how injured they are? Not really, but at the end here you see her kind of damaged. She got what she deserved. Like, they were flying and racing so much that even the queen grounded them. Like, was like, you can't fly anymore. You guys are being, like, you're being too rambunctious. And, bruh. This is like, I love Vidia in these books. Even though she's an asshole in quite a bit of other ones, I love when she has her own stuff. Because anything that goes wrong, they immediately blame her. And you just see it in her actions where she's like, well, I guess I wouldn't blame me too, but like, there are actually other people here that are to blame, so me being the easy out, it ain't gonna cut it. And even at the end, like, Wisp is like, I owe you my life, and then she's like, no, I don't want your life. You're second best. I'm first best. Like, get out of here with that shit. And that's how it ends. Like, there is no, hey, is she gonna be okay? Hey, how badly is her wings? How do they settle getting this firebird? And that's it. It's just how it ends. And I don't believe there is any other talk of that either. It is such, like, both of her stories, I think it's just the second one and this one, are so, like, you are in the bad guy's point of view, but she makes so many good points. And also, not everything is her fault. While she's a bad guy, she's not a bad guy. She tried to warn her. She was warned that, hey, this child right here, she's very rambunctious, and she is not only rambunctious, but she's not careful. Even when Vidia's like, yo, we should not be doing this, Wisp is like, and? Because she has no fear. Now she knows true fear, and I think that's gonna fuck her over. And I wish we actually got one of Wisp, later on to where we see how, again, the healing fairy stuff is, because she was injured. We get, Rani is next again, but we get Rani and how having no wings affects her. But what about injured wings, you know what I mean? Because, bro, trying to see if you're faster than a wave, an arrow, flames, and even a hawk that is known to eat fairies, like, bruh, dangerous stuff. But, again, I give this, like, a 10. This is probably the best one, even though it is, like, the 5th last one here. Bruh. Did I actually say who did this? I think I have. But if I haven't, I'll always put it on the screen. The next one, we got 4 clues for Rani. Do I know what this one is about? No, but I'm always excited to see Rani. Also, didn't get to talk about this, but Rani, Vidia, and I forget the other people, had to literally pick hawk feathers to try and help save Mother Dove, which is talked about a little bit, and then it's just glossed over. But, you know, that's always fun. So let's see here. It is written by Catherine Daly, illustrated by Judith Holmes Clark, Adrena Brown, Mary Klingen, it's Klingen, Lauren Contreras, and Jillian Clark. So there's quite a bit of people here. Also, the art style changed again, and it stays consistent to this one, but you can definitely tell these two are different. I do not think we will probably get another 10. I truly don't. Like, this one is top tier. It's got the danger I've wanted. It's got the bad guy kind of becoming the hero in the end. It's got a dynamic duo. It's basically a one-on-one between yourself, but in a different form. Like, it's great. I really did wish we had what happened to what's her name, but that's fun. To the next one. Gibby has been enraged. Oh goodness. I've changed locations, not really. Where I normally sit is right there. I've been moving stuff. We're trying to rearrange the house, my room. Speaking of which, 4 clues for Rani. 4 clues, 4-leaf clover. I'm not having the best luck. Shit happened in my life. I hate it. I can summon up to a treasure hunt. Rani. And again, Rani just seems to be at the butt end of everything. Where people are like, oh man, I feel so bad for you because you don't have wings and blah, 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 blah. In all honesty, I think, like, besides Rani kind of just being over that shit, she doesn't like the pity that she gets from people. Like, she's doing her own thing and she seems to be doing fine. But, like, everyone's just kind of like, you can't fly. But she can swim. And that's, like, the best thing. Also, why would these water talent fairies not be able to, like swim fine and be able to get their wings wet? I don't know. Annoys me. But anyway, besides that, there is a competition for this treasure hunt. And you're supposed to find these clues. And if you do, you get to have lunch with Queen Clarion. Because everyone deserves a break. Actually, before that, I should go back a bit. Because I completely forgot. It's at the beginning. It's not really brought up. There was a drought in Pixie Hollow. And all the water talent fairies are basically just going, because they're all struggling. Everyone else is being on the struggle bus with this. Because you don't have water, you can't do 1,000,001 other things. And finally, it rained, and Queen Clarion's like, you know what? We've all been stressed. Let's do a treasure hunt. If you win, you get to have dinner/lunch with me, and you get to see these jewels, which are basically through Queen after ruler or whoever. You get to see them. I don't know why. And during this time, Rani actually was in the library, falls asleep accidentally, and is the last to arrive. But she is paired up with Ronan. Ronan is a polished fairy. The slowest of the slow. He's just lazy. No, he's very detailed. He wants it to actually look clean. Even though he's slow at it, he wants it to look good. You know what I mean? And again, polishing fairy. Okay, whatever. I guess. Can't be in with the cleaning fairies. Has to be a fucking polishing fairy, but whatever. But her and Rani and Ronan are put together. It's not ideal, but Clean Clarions, like, you two are the last ones. You kind of have to get over it. So, what also ends up happening is Vidia is paired with Dulcies. And Rani and Vidia have this little competition thing going on between them two. And it's whoever the winner is has to do whatever the winner says for a week. And that's where it is. They start heading off to the locations of these clues. The first one, can't remember. Like, a lot of them don't really matter. You just get from point A to point B. One of them's a cave. One of them's a rock. And to get to the stream, actually, they have to fly on Cousin Dove, because Brother Dove injured his wing, and he'll be out for a minute. Just Rani's luck. And funny enough, because any small bird is afraid of big birds, Cousin Dove is especially afraid of hawks. And this hawk comes down and almost gets Rani and Ronan, but thankfully they managed to get away. And they go on to their next clue, which is by Toodles, who is the skunk that is, or the lost boy that is dressed up in a skunk costume from Peter Pan. And he basically Peter Pan ends up tricking everyone except for Rani and Ronan, who find the next clue, but at the very bottom it's screwed up. It's like water got on it. And everyone, hold on, let me find it real quick. They go up there and they have to do that, and they oink like a pig. But Rani and Ronan end up winning because they actually found that clue, and she was able to remember the quote from the library that she was at. And Vidia has to do what she says, and they get to see, they don't really show the jewels or anything like that. This story, I'd give it a 7. It's more along the story of don't judge a book by its cover, because Ronan and Rani do end up becoming friends, but she does see that, like, he, while lazy, he just kind of does things the way that may be longer, but it's more effective, and he's pretty smart. Like, he's very much, like, thinking of ways how to get through this. That mouth back there is still fucking with me. I wonder how much I'll be in trouble for it. Because if I sit in my normal spot, I don't know, you'll probably be able to see it more. It's literally, I just move over. I'm not going to move over. I've been moving shit. Look at all the kitchen shit that's around here anyway. So again, I'd give this like a 7. I'll probably have to also, because I had to get 2 more of these Pixie Hollow books, because I found out that they weren't just sold separately. They were sold in a bundle, which I'll talk about that more, because we have technically 3 more plus those 2. Another one being this one that actually had another book change. But for now, let's go with Trill Changes Her Tune. I don't remember if we've been on Trill before, or if met Trill before. I think we have. It's been a minute. I don't know. All my books are sitting over there. I don't care right now to get up. I'm lazy. Oh, but also, when I was looking at this, look, they have the DS game in the DVD. I don't remember if my sister had the DS game of this. I don't think she did. I know she had a Tinkerbell one. But let's go through everyone, because it's written by Gail Herman, illustrated by Dennis Shimabukuro, Lauren Castras, and D. Farnsworth. So, yay. Let's get to probably this music talent fairy. I never know how to end it. Trill Changes Her Tune. I think I already read the beginning part. Yes. This thing right here, I think I'd give it a 6. If you have not seen the first Pitch Perfect, this is essentially that movie. What year did this come out? Oh, what year did this come out? 2011. Wait, when did Pitch Perfect come out? Me who's editing this, you gotta...
I'm just riding on my bike and...
You gotta put it on screen because I think I just found where either they took from Pitch Perfect or Pitch Perfect made a take from this. It's essentially, if you've not seen either, it's Trill is trying to like do something that's different. And then there's the other side that's like, no, tradition has to be kept. It's always been like this. Yeah. So it initially begins with Trill. She's very anxious, shy music talent fairy. And she goes off to do whatever. She's basically playing her pan flute or her, what is it called? It's not a pan flute. It's a pan pipes. Kind of what they look like. Pan flute, pan pipes, whatever. I'm going to keep calling it pan flute, not on purpose, but pan pipes. She is playing music, and then she goes to save an otter. In 3 nights or something like that, they're going to have an oceanside symphony. While she was saving this otter, well, technically, I think it's when she accidentally fell out the tree that her pan pipes fell and ended up in a blue jay's nest. How Beck was able to get them back from a blue jay who they're known to be little shits and mean, Godspeed. But she gets it back, but it's pretty broken, has to be fixed again. And that's going to take a long while. So during this time, Trill is trying to do stuff and tries to make things different. Like, they have a xylophone from the Clumsies world, but they discover drum sets and how to make those. Someone who is a percussionist, you would have thought that would have been like one of the main things that they would have had, because they just have a drum that is pumpkin, which I like that idea. But to have multiple, you would have thought they would have had that, because they use pots and pans and stuff like that. They also use, instead of like sticks and stuff like that, they have paint brushes, which are the softer ends. Now, mind you, being a percussionist, xylophones had the plastic mallet, a metal mallet, and then a soft woven mallet side. For drums, there's the drumsticks. There is this little rake one that makes cool noise too. I forget the other one. I know there's another softer brush and it makes like a noise. But they did stuff like that, and it's basically kind of reinventing what noises can make and make it sound different. Wow, what's his name here? What's his name? Cliff. Cliff is the orchestra dude. He's dressed up like an orchestra. But he is like, no, we don't have time for that. Now, mind you, he could have said, hey, maybe for the next one, because they'll probably have it again. But that doesn't end up happening. It's basically old way versus new way. It separates the music people, and then it goes from there. At one point, Trill goes to get quills from a porcupine. Now, mind you, porcupines lose their quills all the time. They shed them. And she goes to get them and gets nearly impaled by a few, gets stuck to him. And instead of Cliff being like, oh my god, are you okay? Because this is like the day of the orchestra. He yells at her. And again, this is a girl who does not like confrontation. She's very to herself. And she's afraid to speak up. And when she finally starts to, it's essentially like, whatever, who cares? Like, who cares? Like, we don't have time for this. We have an orchestra to get to. And it's like, At the end of the day, it is basically new versus old, but since it's so different sounding, it all blends together, and they do a fantastic job. Cliff and Trill end up becoming like friends again. And also, there's something that is talked about here. It is Arrival Day. At first, I thought it was a typo in here. I was like, the first mess up in these books, besides having no glitter after Vidia meets her match. No, actually, what it is that it's basically like birthdays, your arrival date. There's Fawn's, and then I think there's Lily that comes into this. Mind you, we don't see anyone else's. Again, I give this like a 6 or 7. it is basically Trill finding her voice, standing up, but people being really against, like, the difference in change. Mind you, I could have seen, like, hey, Cliff's like, let's do it next time. Like, we'll have another orchestra. Let's try it next time and practice it because that's sudden. We have 3 days before this concert, you know? Instead, it's just, oh my goodness, like, tradition. Like, in band, we have had a lot of times where we do tradition, other times we don't. Because, again, Star Wars, you know the themes of Star Wars. You know the themes of Jaws, Indiana Jones, Superman, that sort of shit. If you suddenly change it, it doesn't become Superman, it doesn't become, but you hear it, but, what was it? Not Happy, but it was Blurred Lines, that same beat. There's like 3 separate songs that same year that had that same melody. So you can make it different, but still have the same melody. It's just different lyrics and different little bits of different beats. Music aside from my percussion days. Actually, funny enough, behind here, I actually do have my xylophone and my drum. Will I get them out? No. Also, my drumsticks are right over there. Will I get them out? No, I'm lazy as hell. Because this, we have 4 more after this. And I'll have to talk about the last 2 later when we get past that one there. That little one. And also that the last one, the last one of these series, is the hardest to find. Like, so hard to find, in fact, that it practically, like, at that point, doesn't exist. It practically doesn't exist. Tink and a Fairy Fix. Let's see who this is by, because I won't remember. It is by Kiki Throp, illustrated by Dennis Shimabukuro, D. Farnsworth, and Lauren Castros. So, Tink and a Fairy Fix. It's essentially, hey, Tinkerbell, can you fix me? Because one person said you fixed me, even though it was just, hey, take the cotton out of your ears, and all 3 of these things that are going wrong with your life will probably not happen. There's a god amongst us. It's that. There is one, however, that I thought was pretty interesting. Hold on. Oh. I opened the first page. I didn't realize this. And it says, I love this book. I won't. Also, I would like to redeem my popcorn coupon. I want it now. If I don't get it now, I will scream. I'm kidding. There is one particular gadget I thought was pretty cool that Tinkerbell made. And it's basically a color wheel for one of the sewing fairies. And what it is it spins and you wear whatever particular color. Now, mind you, Tinkerbell could have made like, oh, color of hat, color of shirt, color dress, color shoes, skirt, whatever. Or it could be one that has like a silver one where it's change everything or random decide. That could have been cool. It all starts with one of the fairies has a screechy wheel and Tinkerbell goes to fix it and he's like, oh, all this is going wrong with my life. I keep sneezing. I have to have dandelion puffs in my ears because the wheel is so screechy. The mice don't like it when I sneeze. And she's like, well, I fixed your wheel. Now you can take the dandelion fluff out and it won't scare the mice. And he's like, oh my God. And so for some reason that means every fairy in Pixie Hollow has decided that means Tinkerbell can fix them. Like Rosetta's trying to ask about how to get this guy to date her, teaching that said guy how to dance, trying to fix a rake, and also at the very beginning too, Lily is like, oh, this is my first watering can since I arrived here. You made it too good. And I'm like, you wanted it fixed, I fixed it. Why the hell are you bitching about it? And then Tinkerbell tries to fix, I forget what her name is. She's a gardening fairy that has like the most screechy voice. At one point she just dumps water on her because she's annoying as shit. And she doesn't apologize either. She just leaves and then it's just kind of brushed off, which I think is pretty funny. The whole story is Tinkerbell trying to fix people because they ask her to, and then it doesn't end up going well. Because the one guy who she's trying to help teach dance thinks Tink was asking him out, and it was supposed to be for Rosetta. Just a lot of stuff doesn't end up working till essentially Tinkerbell starts to try and fix more people, like the smell of Fawn, because she smells like skunk and wild animal. Doesn't end up working. She tries to make Bess like less messy, but she's art talent fairy, so it's like you're gonna get messy when painting, and when you're painting 24/7, yeah, there's no cleaning that up. It essentially ends with Lily getting her rake back because Tinkerbell apparently had pushed that off for too long. Everyone just basically choosing to do their own thing, which again, I'd give this one, ma'am, she's right here. I'd give this one because I think this is actually the first one with Tinkerbell where I'm like, I'd give it a 5, just because it's meh. Did I like some of it? Yeah, she actually almost fixed this girl's voice, but the fairy gardener could not hear herself talk, so she broke the horn that Tinkerbell made and started using it as a megaphone. Like, it was to the point where fairies were coming over going, what is that angelic noise? Like, it's so beautiful. I would have been like, keep it. Keep that. This last one, before we get to the two big ones, which I will talk about. Rosetta's dress mess. This one is the technical last one in the States. It is also the hardest one to find. I think they were selling it for $60. I got it for $20. I don't care. That's a lot of money. It is, for especially this type of book. But also, I got a good deal for it. So it's $60 or $20, guys. It is written by Laura Driscoll, illustrated by Dennis Shimabukuro, and the Disney Storybook artist. So basically, no one else wanted to deal with this shit. So I'll talk about I'm sorry, ma'am. I'll talk about the last two books here because it's Rani and Bess. They are in two thicker books, and it's combined with each other's stories. I do not know why. The one with Rani was changed, and they came out in like 2005. I forget when Beck's came out, but I believe both of them may have been 2005, and reprinted into thicker books. And again, for some reason, I'm not too sure. The Rani one had a different name. I'll have to put it on screen. But yeah, so technically, instead of just, because again, they thickens. Instead of those two, includes a brand new story. At this point, they're not. Got them, again, pretty cheap. These are also hard to find because some of them go for over $50 while others do not. I will talk about, however, the technical last one of these series. It is Iridessa's. I don't remember the name of it at the moment, but Iridessa was the last one made, and hers is the hardest to get. I don't have it. I probably never will. It only came out in 2 countries. I would assumed like a lot of these would have been more US and US distributed only. No. One country in particular, it's Japan. Okay, cool. Like, you had a couple of artists and illustrators that were Japanese. Sweet. The other one is Australia. So, should have had an English distribution, right? Wrong. Not only can you not find it in Japan or Australia, it basically doesn't exist. I don't even remember the description of it, so if I find it, I'll put it on screen here. The technical last ones will probably either be Bess or Rani. I haven't decided yet. I probably will do Rani last, because again, both of these have 2 of the stories in there, which both of them I have read. I'm just reading the new stories. And why did they do this? I don't know. Redistributing, I don't know if there was others that they did this to. These 2 were the most prominent ones that everyone's like, hey, if you're looking for those books, they are in these 2 here, and you probably will not find them distributed. I actually found the Rani one that was the original, like the the 2 friendship one. But again, over $100. No thank you. Anyway, let's go to Rosetta's dress mess. Yay! And now, so I found this out way too late because I thought I had all the books. This is near the end of the series because I started to edit this stuff and then I realized, oh, I'm missing 2. Oh, I'm missing a 3rd. Oh, this 3rd one is hardly to be found. My life right now. My life. So, part of this one is art lessons for Bess. The other one we've already read. So, here we go. Also, it looks like I'm leaning weird, but it's the way my camera's angled. So, sorry, not sorry. A new fairy emerges, and she happens to be an art talent fairy. Her name is Scarlet, and she's a bit different. What do I mean by that? Besides her not knowing what her clothing style... Besides not knowing what her clothing style is, which seems to be mixed-matched and all kinds of weird, and she just doesn't get embarrassed easily. Get what else? Like, she's a little weird. She also doesn't have an art talent. Normally, they all would have something. Like Bess is a painter, then there probably would be a sculptor, there would be a glass blower, you know, that sort of thing. She does not know hers. She, again, is also clumsy. So when she tries to actually test out what her art talent is, it doesn't seem to go well. Such as for when she tries to paint, it's basically nonsense. When she tries to make jewelry, she ends up almost burning the queen or melting the queen's bracelet and just a whole bunch of stuff. But she's very smart in that she does know art. She knows what she's talking about, and it's just she can't put it to practice. She knows about it. If those who cannot practice teach, or whatever the fuck that saying is. Because me personally, I've been getting into, I'll have to put a picture of it, making shrink dinks, because I also do color pencil, and that's my thing. I do as well, like paints, but I've been kind of off of that. I've done quite a few, but I haven't been like 100%. I've mostly been, again, color pencil, and now the shrink dinks with the Posca pens. But Scarlet, she's very like, I want to find mine, but she keeps getting more and more upset about it because later they make her an art studio out of a pumpkin, which is like what Bess has. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, she finally has her own place to work and do her craft. And then she realizes, oh, it's because you guys don't want me to mess anything else up. And I'm like, but she may be weird, but she knows. She's not stupid. She knows. And again, like, she keeps trying until they go down to get more paint stuff, and Bess is wrapped around this vine, and Bess keeps falling in the mud trying to help her, and she realizes, like, she likes playing in mud. She likes to get down and dirty and playing in mud. And Bess is like, you know what? I think I know what your talent is, and she can do pottery. And they have her an art studio. She makes pottery. She can make all the glasses and the cups and stuff like that. So, it's great. She actually has an actual talent as an art fairy. Now, mind you, what is this one? Because we had the triplets. We had the one with Vidia. I feel like we had another one. This is like the 5th or 6th new fairy. And this one seemed, because again, Bess and Scarlet become best friends. Like, she's friends with everyone, but like, this is her best friend. And I'm very happy about that, because they actually, like, Bess is embarrassed for Scarlet, but it's more like a, I want you to succeed, and because you're not, I'm embarrassed. But she, like, and everyone's just like, she's a little weird. She's just clumsy, and she does things, like, hold on, let me find a picture of her. She has bright red hair here, and to tame it, she puts sticks in it to, like, hold it in place. And then I gotta find another picture of her, of how she's dressed, because she wears 2 different socks. Her skirt is now her top, and she has like those those puffy shorts or bloomers or whatever they're called. She wears that. It's just how she is. Like, what's a good artist to pinpoint. There's a couple of, like, Picasso, I guess, but there's, like, it's just to be weird and mismatch. I've seen people who can make the mismatch work really well, others cannot. Like, I think I know my mother, she's like, oh my god, mismatch socks, how dare you? And that was, like, a huge trend, too, which I'm like, I don't care. I'm wearing the socks. I have pants over this. I don't care. But, give this one a 6. It's interesting if you're, like, in the art perspective, especially because there's the scene in here where she's trying to see if she's a sculptor, and to actually make something, you have to hit it, and then, like, apparently your creation comes to life or whatever, and she hits it and breaks in the middle. And I can only think of that one scene from SpongeBob where SpongeBob hits it and it's the most beautiful statue ever. It's that sort of thing. From an artist's perspective, yeah, it's really interesting, but for everyone else, it's probably not. Especially because it is just like a new fairy in mostly mundane tasks, just doing whatever. Next one up, we have Rani and the Three Treasures, our last book. I will actually have to look up what the original name for it is, because it's Rani, Two Friendship Tales, and again, wait, did Bess not have the... No, Bess actually did not have the opening scene of the Mother Dove. It just gets straight to that one. That's weird. They also don't have anything more for, like, oh, check out so-and-so and all that. That's weird. It is written by Kimberly Morris and illustrated by the Disney storyboard artist. So basically, screw you. But anyway, on to Rani and the Three Treasures. I'm hoping this is actually a good one and we end on a high note, because I'm kind of glad I didn't end on Bess's. It's a good story, don't get me wrong, but it's not one that I'd be like, you know what, this series wrapped up nicely. And to be fair, if it ended on Vidia meets her match, I would have been like 10 out of 10, like my favorite series. See, Gibby is so still there, and now I got a mama. But Rani and the Three Treasures, the last one I just finished. I finished both the two big ones. I'm very happy. I'm very, very, very happy. This has been... You don't understand. I started this, I think... When was the solar eclipse? I started that a little bit far back then. It's been a minute. To be fair, with the shit that has been happening this actual week, I rushed through like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 7 of these, maybe 6. So I have tried to look for a reason why they redistributed these into here. It's just basically more money, because as well as when you see those layer ones, it's essentially just because, what is it, that one Tinkerbell one where they meet a clumsy, that's where it became popular again. So different generation and all that stuff. But this starts off with Rani and Prilla being in the rain, and it's raining in Pixie Hollow, and Rani's like, man, I wish it would rain all the time. I could have my own rain cloud and this, that, and the third. And she has a dream where she does get a rain cloud, and it follows her. And turns out there is a little water spirit named Dab. I'm gonna kill myself, it's fine. It's fine. And he's like, hey, or is it he or she? I don't know. But Dab's like, hey, you want a rain cloud, right? And Rani's like, yeah, I would actually like that. I'm a water fairy. And Dab goes, here you go. She's like, oh, thank you. Gives her a whole set of rain clouds and says, good luck. I'll come back when you find out these 3 clues, these 3 treasures. And Rani's like, what? You tricked me. I only wanted the 1. And also, like, what do you mean? And also, this leads to the question of not only can Rani now call rain clouds because she's more in tune with her talent than flying, but also, does that mean that, like, any of these other fairies can, I don't know, call herds of animals or even, I don't know, the sun? I'm very surprised, actually, that there's not a fairy that can control the weather, but it keeps raining, and the rain clouds follow her wherever she goes. So, the first 2 days, it's fine. Everyone in Pixie Hollow has a lot of stuff that they needed done, and you know what? A perfect rainy day to get it finished. Third day, technically, rolls around, and they're over the rain. Rani tries to basically bring the rain away because everyone seems not to be in a good mood. And at one point when she's trying to get away, she's trying to figure out clues with Prilla on how to, maybe what are these 3 treasures. She's trying to find stuff out. Prilla yells at her at one point saying, I don't think you're trying to help fix Pixie Hollow. And it's literally like she is. Like she's trying to think of like these pearls, this gem. Also, there is a thing from Clarion that I think it's Bess and Tinkerbell. Let me find it real quick. It's Bess and Tinkerbell that they save Queen Clarion from a hawk that it's Tink and Beck. And they save her from a hawk by jabbing the gem that was in her crown and chucking it at this bird. That's what Queen Clarion's thing should have had. Not whatever the hell happened with Prilla and whoever else was there. Like, still the worst book. But, anyway. Like, all the treasures that Rani's like, they're treasures, but, like, they're not, like, why would a water spirit want it, you know? And Prilla's like, what? You just don't want this rain to go away in Pixie Hollow. And Rani's like, what the fuck? Yes, I do. Like, I'm doing this to help everyone. And at one point, when she's trying to get the rain away, she sees a rainbow. And she goes to where the fairy dust is located and falls through the hut and into all this fairy dust. And even Fira is like, I think you've helped enough. Because Rani's like, oh, I can try and help you guys. She's like, you've done enough. Like, go away. And I'm like, damn, everyone's being shitty with all this rain here. And she gets caught up in a tornado, like, it's high winds, tornado sort of thing. And she's like, oh, I guess I kind of deserve this. Maybe if I just disappear. And I'm like, oh boy, depression expression over here. Mama, are you depression expression? It does not speak. For once, it does not speak. Like, her friends save her. And Rani has to admit to Queen Clarion what has happened. And Queen Clarion puts her foot down and says, everyone find your treasures, like find the greatest treasures that you think is out there, and let's see if that's, like, that could help us. And they all do. They all start fighting at one point because they're like, oh, mine's better, this, that, and the third. And they're in this canopy thing, and all this water had accumulated over it and basically rips the canopy, ruins everything. And they're all like, Rani decides to go and take the clouds with her and try to help around Pixie Hollow, because with all the rain here, everywhere else has been neglected. So for 4 days, this is almost a week now, for 4 days, she is trying to help water every other place that she can, so that way, like, it gets water. But when she comes back, the rain clouds follow her, but she doesn't have a lot of time now. Because, again, she keeps trying to think of 3 treasures that this water spirit would want in order for him to come and get these damn clouds again. And by the end of it, she's like, I'm going to leave and, like, try and help more of Pixie Hollow. And Prilla says, hey, I'll join you so you're not alone. But then it's Tinkerbell's like, hey, I'll join you later. And a couple of them are like, hey, after you come back, like, and try to, like, you know, just come back to Pixie Hollow for a little bit. Like, you'll have a buddy with you. Like, go do an exchange system. And Mother Dove says, hey, come visit me. And she does. She admits to what happens to Mother Dove. And while talking with her, she realizes, oh, actually, what the 3 treasures are her powers, friendship, and love, and that sort of stupid shit. Which, to be fair, yeah, but she also thought it was sentimental because water spirit, mischievous, trickster, that sort of thing. And the water spirit comes back and goes, damn, you took a long time to realize that. I was kind of thinking you weren't ever going to, and I was just gonna skedaddle. But thanks, I'll take my rain clouds back. And it all ends very well. I literally was like, wow, everyone is so upset because rain. Like, they all just start being such dickheads to each other. Also, the website that I was looking up for this says that this is like 96 pages. I guess they're not counting all the pictures. And again, I gotta find this, what Dab looks like. Dab is just so cool looking. Like, honestly, Dab's, like, how, like, the description of, like, that every time he or she laughs or just does anything, it sounds like echoing raindrops on, like, metal, or it sounds like thunder. It's really cool. I'd give this one a 8, just because it's also Rani proving herself that instead of, you know, moping and be like, oh, woe is me, she's like, I'm gonna go help Pixie Hollow because this is my fault. I gotta do something about it, you know. I finished it officially. Now I never have to touch it again. But this is actually great reading material for me. Oh, I just found the mermaid picture and terrifying. But since we're on that, because the next book series I have to do is The Chronicles of Vladimir Todd. I'm not picking it up. It's over there. I'm over here. But I also decided to do a shorter series while with that, because what is it, like 8th grade to senior year or something like that. And a couple of others that you'll have to see when I'm doing the review. But I have 3 books right here just because I found one of them at a local Goodwill. And I was like, you know what? I haven't seen this show in a minute. While we're doing this, maybe I could read this series and maybe rewatch Nickelodeon's House of Anubis. Now, mind you, this also, I think I had said this before, it comes with these pictures of all the characters and stuff like that. If I remember correctly, it is Americans saving British kids from abroad. And weird stuff starts happening. But then as I also looked into the other pictures here, they're all the same. They're all the same. Oopsie doodles. Oh, I'm sorry, that one's different. What's the third one? Oh boy, I hope I see Joy in, oh, this one's different. That is a short skirt. And she's got, look at those, she's got the weird tights. Oh, scandalous. Yep, we got, oh, I'm sorry, we got all the boys on the stairwell now. And we got a 3-person headshot. Oh, there's Mara. And then Mick. Oh, there's so many characters to remember. I forgot there were so many characters. We'll see how that one goes, because it's going to be a short one. I'm sure this one will probably be up before the Vladimir Todd one. She's asleep. I have been here for a little bit. So she's like, Mom, you need to give me my chair back. It's my chair. But anyway, thank you for tuning in to me either complain about all of these books or just cheer with joy because I found some of them to actually be really good. The best one is still Vidia meets her match. The worst one is Queen Clarion, and she's not even in this, so who cares? Just thinking about that book makes me so upset, especially because there's the rainy one where, again, Tinkerbell and Beck save Queen Clarion. Like, what are the odds of that? Like, that could have been great. Again, we could have known all about Queen Clarion. Because she likes to take a very harsh step when she needs to be. But no. Actually, we could have gotten a thing to where she is, when she's becoming queen. And her first time there, or how she became queen. That would have made too much sense. I don't know what you want from me. But anyway, see you in either House of Anubis or the Chronicles of Vladimir Todd. It is almost 7 in the morning. I am tired. But anyway, thank you for watching and hope you have a good one.